I do not need to moderate. It'll get like no views. Anyway, it says I'm live. So hello, and I'm gonna be doing a bit of data analysis. So I could add. How do I do the thing? Share screen. That's what we want to do. Go to my thing. Oh, there we go. I think you can see that. Cool. This is just the 2025 driver. So I actually haven't gone through every single race and every single incident and things. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that's been going on. Can I move this so it's not as annoying? Yeah, that'd be great. Anyway, so yeah, this is in order of championship. The championship after the first round. So that's why Cam Waters is first, even though he didn't have a very good time. But yeah, I might as well not be being paranoid about whether anyone's watching because it's supposed to be chill. It would just be a bit annoying if if somebody was watching and I didn't see. So yeah, so Cam Waters has had a pretty difficult season. I'm very tired actually. I have 2 cups of tea here to drink, and so I need to be drinking them. So I guess I'll do that for a hot second while I don't know if anyone's ever going to watch this at all, but I don't mind doing the streaming like this. It's not too bad. My hair is getting crazy. But yeah, so we've got I was thinking, Cam Waters, he hasn't had a podium in ages, but then no, he has. Yeah, I won at Darwin in the first race, so for some reason I didn't notice that. Got one at Tassie, got one at Taupo, but he just sort of struggles with that consistency at the moment, and it's a bit of a worry. Okay, I can see my bars there. That's good. All right, so that's gonna help me, I guess, if I had my microphone pointed at the right spot. If I was remotely, I don't need to be loud. That's what it is. Anyway, so yeah. So Cam Waters has had a few podiums. I do have like PowerPoint presentations and things going on. So yeah, but I was talking to some people in a comment section. I think it was Supercars Talk or someone talking about Will Brown's season and saying, he really needs to. I think this guy was saying he really needs to dig himself. He can't be qualifying outside the top 10, but this was kind of the only time, but his qualifying has not been great, and I do have stats for the 2024 season that sort of prove the difficult season that he had. He won the championship last year, but at the moment now, because these I'm gonna check I'm go to the Supercars website to see what the current driver standings are, which I do have to update because my PowerPoint presentations aren't up to date because I have to wait for everything to come through. So driver standings. Will Brown is currently second in the championship, so he could hang on to it, but I think Matt Payne is coming in quick. So let's have a look at Matt Payne. Here he is, and he is scoring very high at the moment compared to Will. Can I do a thing? I don't know how to do that. I don't think you can compare sheets. This is not a thing that I know how to do. I'm not that great at Excel. I wish I was, but it's a thing. So yeah, Will Brown is currently second in the championship. I could rearrange everything, but I kind of like looking at it like, this is like Cam Waters at the top there, but he did start the season very strongly. But then from that point onwards, he really struggled. And I'd say the same thing for Chaz Mostert as well. Like, Chaz has not had the season like he had last year. Like at Tasmania, there was just no way he struggled all weekend. This is not a championship campaign from Chaz. It is potentially, it's potential. As long as everyone stays in for the finals, everyone's got a chance of winning the championship. So but you've got to think what rounds we have. We've got, oh, actually, I've got it up here. So we've got two more rounds, Townsville and Queensland, and then that's the end of the Sprint Cup. And whoever wins the Sprint Cup gets 25 points, I think it is, for finals. I don't think they automatically go into the finals. It's whoever's in the top 10 of the championship after Bathurst. So then you got Gold Coast, Sandown, and Adelaide. It's so weird for me. I don't know. It's a bit weird looking at. I thought that Sandown would be the one after Bathurst, and then Gold Coast, then Adelaide, but it's just a bit confusing. So yeah, I guess I'm just gonna keep on checking to see if anyone's commenting. But last time I did this, I kind of talked for an hour and a half, and the day got saved by us Nanamato. So yeah. That's the problem. Like I say, it's gonna be chill, but I'm not being chill. I'm kind of being like, "Oh, what's going on? What's going on?" But I think Matt Payne's having a pretty strong year. Like you couldn't fault him in any way. His qualifying has been quite good. He had some bad rounds like Tassie. They were struggling for pace, but they still had race pace, and they had a really bad time in Tassie last year as well with Richie Stanaway. Which is another one I want to look at. Like, there's a few I want to look at, and I'll go through every single person, I think, because there's always something interesting to look at. So here we go, Richie Stanaway down here. He hasn't quite had a strong weekend yet, and I'm sure it'll happen at some stage. I don't know if it'll happen at Townsville because I don't know if the Grove cars are actually that good at Townsville. My expectations for Townsville are pretty much Will Brown will be up there. I think Brock Feeney will be up there. I'd say the Grove cars will be up there because we've seen Matt Payne do well. He won last year. DJR might be all right because Anton got the win. Was it 23? But I think they also had solid cars in 24, but I can't remember. I could bring those stats up and that'd be good. So where have I put it? Okay, here we go. I'll bring it up in Excel and we'll go through because I have a lot of different stats. So where do we want to look at? I guess we could look at, hang on, this is 24, so we need to look at Matt Payne and Dave Reynolds. All right, now I'll switch you guys over to see. Not stop sharing, I guess. Can I just change what's sharing? All right. It's a bit weird. Before drivers ups and downs. So here we go, Matt Payne, and this has got all the little things that happened in the race. It's kind of sad that Payne got put in the fence there by Percat. So, all right, Townsville, yeah. So 9th up to 4th, 10th up to 1st. Such a strong time. And that Sunday race was really good because he just went as fast as possible and did was it a 3-stop? Normally you do a 2-stop with three different stints in the race, but they just went ham and did 3 stops and just kept on chucking tires at it and just bolted from everyone and then just had such pace. So yeah, 9th up to 4th, that's a strong run. And then 10th up to 1st is a really strong run. So it looks like Matt Payne. It looks like the Grove car might be good. I don't know if the Grove car is particularly good this year. We could actually might go back and check that. How does it compare? Might be a bit better. Oh, here we go. So we've got 14 top 10 quality. It's not really helpful because we go down through to Darwin here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 top 10 qualifyings there. And then I'll have a quick look at Matt Payne this year. And but there's also you've got the sprint rounds this year. It's kind of hard to tell. You need to be able to look at it and go, "Oh, this is what's going on." Um, actually, I'm showing the 2024. So I'm talking about Matt Payne and whether the Groves are going to be competitive at Townsville, but it looks like they might be. Because looking at the 2024, they had a fast car, so I think 25, they'll be good. If I look at Richie Stanaway, here we go. Yeah, he struggled. So 16th up to 14th and 13th down. Okay, he just had pace for 14th. That's all he had. And whether you could say that's him with the car, or whether you could say because Matt Payne had such a strong race, they probably just had such different driving philosophies that it was difficult to find to have one guy have it all worked out, and then the other guy would be close enough. But sometimes I feel like that you could have it both ways. You can have two guys with different driving abilities or driving philosophies, the way they set up the cars, and one you they'll have the two different extremes, but they could communicate and find a way to work it out. But I don't know. That's obviously I'm not a racing driver, so difficult to say. What else? I think that's all I really got to say. Let's look at Premiere for Townsville. Yeah, they're nothing. Tim Slade had a crap time, but Tim Slade had a crap year. He was good in some moments, but in other times he was just struggling. Yeah. I like Premiere. I'm a Jimmy Golding fan, and I'm not convinced that they are gonna be the next big thing. Grove Racing have done the investment, they've done everything that they need to do, and they've got whatever procedures that they've needed to do to make it so that everything goes the way they need it to go, and that a bad weekend doesn't mean it doesn't mean the end of the world. I'm gonna switch it over to on. There. Switch it to 2025. Driver ups and downs. Yeah, cool. Yeah, like what's Matt Payne's worst weekend? You couldn't really find one. Apart from Albert Park. Not a strong time. 6th down to 9th, 17th up to 11th, 3rd down to 11th. But then Albert Park, now unfortunately I didn't watch all the races, so I don't have much of an idea of how intense the racing was. But it's Albert Park, it's always intense. But it looks like Matt Payne held his own, had a pretty consistent weekend in terms of scoring points. That's why he's 3rd in the championship, and that's why he's probably on track to get past Will Brown, assuming Will Brown doesn't just have a massive rebound at Townsville, which that's what I'm expecting that he's going to do, because he's just good at Townsville. He just had that incredible pace. So if I look at went 13th up to 3rd in the first race last year, and then 17th, and then just had this tangle with Reynolds and Winterbottom, and it was just an awkward position, and he just came out unlucky. But he had incredible pace, and he won at Townsville in 2023 as well with Erebus. So he's got that pace. He's got he's got it. And I remember in 2021, I think he was actually quite impressive as well. 2022, he struggled because he just couldn't wrap his head around the 22 car for some reason. He was struggling a lot with it. So, yeah, I say Will Brown's going to bounce back at Townsville because that's just what he does. Chaz Mostert and Walkinshaws, they'll probably bounce back. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. But yeah. What are the spreadsheets showing? Longer distance races. Will Brown's bread and butter. Okay. Um, yeah, so these spreadsheets are it's just qualifying and race results. Hang on, which one am I showing now? I think it's this is what the 20. Yeah, this is the 25 one. So this is each round, each race. I've got where they qualified and where they went. So they went up, they went down, and a little bit of effort into putting down. This is what happened in the race that might have affected their results. So you got that last race at Darwin. Chaz technically qualified ninth in the shootout, but he started from pit lane, so he's dead last and had to make his way through the field, and so that's why he ended up 12th, even though he probably had pace to be in the top 10. 2024 tyre suits him a lot more, in your opinion. What, Will Brown? Is that what you're saying, bootleg champagne? 2024 tyre suits Will Brown. Right. He has been struggling though. So, so if I look at the Sunday races, Will Brown. So now they had a Friday race at SMP, fourth up to second. And then you got Taupo, you got 12th up to 8th. Tassie was the 440, whatever it was. So that was a 2-race Saturday, 1-race Sunday. First down to third down to 5th, 11th up to 5th. So he did have a pretty good Sunday. Yeah, I'm not really seeing it. Oh, yeah, you said 24 tyre. I don't know why I thought it was 2025. That's a me thing. Yeah, 2024, he was very strong. Not as dominant. He could start last. You can almost guarantee you see him in the top 10, maybe top 6. Yeah. Well, like I think it was Adelaide. He got that win last year where he got spun around by Brody, and he went down to last, and then he made his way through the field. I wasn't that surprised about that. I was like, yeah, of course. He's driving in 888 car. He's a great driver, and he's on form. He was on form in 2024. Yeah, this year, the 2025 tire, and I think we've got a new soft, and we've got the super soft, which is the special tire. I can't remember. I'm not sure if we've got 2 new tires or if we've just got the one. Because I think the second race is the weird one where we always end up with like a crazy race. So I think if I was thinking about Brody Kostecki, I think at what race was it? Taupo. So Brody was in with the battle for the podium and running up the front of Taupo all day. That was the super soft race, I think. So yeah, I think a super soft works with certain drivers and certain cars. But especially with Brody and DJR, it's just a crazy year for them, and they're struggling to find it. They're in the top 10, or at least Brody is in the top 10 every day. But I think Will Brown will definitely bounce back at Townsville. I think it would be crazy to think that he's not going to get a podium at least, because just because and I think I saw there's an article in Speed Cafe talking about how much of a struggle he's having, and how he might bounce back after this NASCAR race that he's going to do. You think that Super Soft is from last year, and we're just throwing him in weekends because they made too many? It's just my uneducated opinion. Yeah, well, I've got some data and I can't remember everything, we've got lives. Yeah, I think the soft is the new one that they were testing last year that everyone was saying is so good. Um, so I think that the first race is the soft, and not every race is the there's different formats. It's a little bit confusing. We used to just have super sprints every weekend, but now it's a bit weird. So just look if we looked at Darwin, it would be the soft in the first race, super soft in the second race, and then the soft in the third race. So it looked like Will Brown struggled a bit with the second one there. Struggled there as well at Perth in the second race. Just struggling with qualifying. But then in Taupo, for some reason, had a hooked up in that second race. And then, yeah, I'm not sure what happened to SMP. I cannot remember the formats. I know some of them are the Friday race, Saturday race, Sunday race. But then I think the 440 races, so I think Taupo through to Townsville is 440 races. So we've got the 2 race Saturday, 1 race Sunday. So, what else we're looking at? Anton. I was looking at Anton before because I think there's an article talking about he might make it to the finals, and I'm so unsure about that. Mainly because it's Team 18, but Townsville weekend, 100K Friday, 200K Saturday, Sunday. I think that's right. I think Townsville is the first weekend that we have a Friday race for the street circuit. So, um, I think now, hang on, what's my thing? Gold Coast is just 2 races. Adelaide's 3 races. You can't see it there, but there is 3 races for Adelaide. And that's why Townsville's got the 3 races. So I think Townsville's pretty much the same as Adelaide because I think I saw someone was talking about it as a bit of a predictor for how Adelaide might go. So yeah. What do you think of Friday races? I'm not. I think the SMP one was actually more annoying because it didn't get broadcast. So I think then if they're not going to broadcast it, it's kind of annoying to have it exist. It's a bit out of sync with the television deal. They need to get that sorted so that we get every single race, like especially the first race of the season. It should be broadcast because it just seemed a little bit better. Not that the first race of this year was any good because you kind of just watched the top 3 not do anything. So I don't know. I think for Supercars it's a weekend thing and that they do their practice and qualifying on the Friday. What else are we going? Yeah, so Anton had a really good, really strong part of the year until they went to Taupo and Team 18 shat the bed big time with their strategies and their pit stop. I didn't write it down there because I've only got so much time and I didn't write down everything, but yeah, that's just what happens. But Anton was okay. He was rubbish at Tassie. Qualified in the top 10. That's the problem. Is I need to go back through the races and see what happened because I can't remember every single race. I couldn't even remember when Will Brown's last podium was, but he was actually relatively consistent, racking up a couple podiums. He had 2 in Perth, so he was actually really solid. I don't know why I felt like he was having such a bad year, but he's not. He's still second in the championship, and unfortunately for Will Brown, Matt Payne's momentum is so strong. he's almost certain to pass Will Brown if Will does not beat him at Townsville. So kind of crazy. Yeah, Brock is dusting him. That's good. I like that. Yeah, well, Brock needed this year. Brock needed it. Last year, Will came in and he smoked him. Brock was actually really fast. I mean, I could go into the stats on that, but because I sort of broke it down a bit better. I'll show that actually. Um, how do we do this? I am just doing this all through YouTube. This is very amateur hour. All right, here we go. So, so we've got this is Will. So, okay, I've got to work out what the heck I've done here. Okay, I think this is relating to this. So okay, yeah, this is qualifying and this is finishes. Oh, that's my Snapchat doing a thing. Yeah, his qualifying wasn't the best, but if you're in the best car, you're probably having a better time. The difference between Brock and Will last year was that when Brock had a shit qualifying session, he could not get back in the 10. He struggled. It only happened, what was it, once? So you got that one at SMP, where he started 16th, couldn't get in the 10. And then the other one was just Taupo, I think. But Brock was the best qualifier. Had the most top 10 qualifyings, most top 5s, most top 15s. He had it all set. And then he was top 2 in terms of finishes as well. So Will Brown's not shocking. He's just Brock's racecraft is shocking. Could be, but maybe it's changed this year. Hang on, let's have a look at that. Let's look and I think. Think of races where Feeney. All right, where are we going? Taupo. Yeah, he couldn't dig himself out at Taupo. Yeah, so he needs to sort that out. It's easy to rack up points when you're up the front, and I think I saw someone said something like that. Like, it's easy to get those results when you're up the front. But when you have a bad qualifying session, you need to have that racecraft. Like we saw, I think last year, Cam Waters and Chaz Mostert dug themselves out of bad qualifying sessions, but they're also pretty used to it too, because for some reason their teams just cannot work it out sometimes. Brock's a mirror image of Whincup. He gets to the front, it's GG's laters. Yeah. If they have to get through the pack, he's cooked. Yeah. Whincup, I think, wasn't too bad at that. I wish I had the stats on that. I don't really have those sorts of numbers. All I've got is my 24 thing, and then I've got the 25 thing that I'm working on. Yeah, I think because Whincup was also, he racked up record pole positions and record race wins. So it's a bit easy to say. In comparison, Tons Whincup looked like a rookie getting through the field compared to Lowndes. Yeah, but yeah, well, that's interesting because Whincup had been in the mid pack driving for Tasman Motorsport and Gary Rogers, and then in 2006 he wasn't flash, but he sorted it out in 07. If you watch Darwin in 2007, it's really interesting just watching who's good and who's not good. You'll see, I think Todd Kelly nailed the start. I don't know what race it was, but Todd Kelly nailed the start. He had pole. He nailed the start, went into the first corner. Scafie out-braked him and took the lead. And then Lowndes coming through the field, picking him off one by one. Whincup locks it up into one at some stage. I thought, isn't that interesting? Like, you see, it's easy to think that these guys have always been really good, but they haven't. They've got to build it up. Like Kai Allen this year is a great example of a driver who he knows he has a great opportunity to start delivering big results, like having great qualifying sessions and great race results, but he needs to work out how to do it. And we saw it at Darwin. He just sort of broke through and started whipping Matt Payne, and that was incredibly impressive. Like I think everybody was like, "This is the best time." Um, the when you see these talented guys coming through, it's it's interesting watching them unfold. If I look at Kai Allen, do, 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 do. Hang on, he was further up, wasn't he? No, he was further down. Kai didn't have a great start to the year. Okay, so yeah, he had very impressive in qualifying at first, but he had to kind of work it out. And then at Perth, I was talking to one of my workmates about this, how consistent he was at Perth. He was qualifying in the 10 and he wasn't dropping too far down. And then that Sunday race, he just popped up in the 10 again. And then we go to Darwin and he just had it. He just had a hooked. So I think everyone's going to be really excited about Townsville. Maybe Kai's going to be up there with Matt Payne. But it wouldn't be ridiculous to think there might be a few mistakes. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to. There's so many tiny factors in motorsport, and that's what I love about it. Supercars, just I think, just because growing up watching it and learning about the drivers and the teams, and then you get older and you learn about stuff, and you go, "Oh, this is how all this works." Like you got to have money, but you also got to have to spend the money in the right spot and do everything right. The issue with supercars is Triple Eight. They're too fucking good. They are too good. They make everybody look like rubbish. Except, but you got Triple Eight South, right? You got Grove Racing. They're coming up, and I think I've been reading a few articles hyping them up, basically saying they've arrived. We thought they arrived at the end of 2023 though. They spent 24 having to kind of relearn everything because Triple Eight got Will Brown. Well, I suppose Will Brown compared to Shane Gisbergen is you can't compare. One's that much better than the other one, and it's SVG. Triple Eight just do everything in a set procedure, and they say this is how we're going to do it. I think it was Team 18. Like you got Scott Pye talking about what things were like at Team 18, and he said that what was it? He said that Krusty Holloway, who's a great engineer, who was with Gary Rogers, he was with HRT. He goes to Team 18 and he's supposed to be engineering Scott Pye, but then some issue happens with some other thing, and the only one who knows absolutely everything is Krusty Holloway. So he's kind of in charge of sorting stuff out. And that's kind of where Triple Eight doesn't need that. They're not sending Andrew Edwards to go work on the car. They've got chief mechanics. They've got the number one mechanic is in charge of things on that car. If there's any little things, maybe he might have an input, but for the most part, Triple Eight say, hey, the mechanics have got to look after the cars. The engineers have got to make sure that the cars are set up right. That's how someone can like fence it. So stream is lagging, might be my Wi-Fi. Okay. I've heard that you can uh get out of the stream and get back in, and that might help. So if you want to try that, I can stop for a second and drink my tea. I could probably talk a bit more. What was I saying? Um, Yeah, the comparison between Team 18 and Triple Eight, that's what I was talking about. This could I run the Scott Pye thing again? Yeah, so Scott Pye said that the difference between Triple Eight and Team 18 was, um, at Team 18, Scott Pye's engineer, Krusty Holway, um, legendary engineer, was with a HRT, Gary Rogers Motorsport, engineered a lot of incredible drivers. Goes to Team 18, and so he's supposed to be engineering Scott's car, but let's say that I think Scott said there would be like an issue with something, that that Krusty's been around long enough, he knows how to deal with everything. He would go and help with that rather than helping set up Scotty's car um for the race or something. So that would have an effect, and that sort of thing would not happen at Triple Eight. The impression that I got from that, from what Scotty said, was the mechanics at Triple Eight, they mechanic the cars. The engineers don't mechanic the cars, and so that's something that, like, just the way things work at different teams. Um, like you're not going to see Andrew Edwards having an input on the mechanics of Will Brown's car. He might know a bit about it, but he'll do the engineering thing and say, "Thanks for fixing the cars, boys. Will, I've got you a better setup this time. This one's gonna do the job." Um, that's how they're able to rock up to the next session and just bounce back to the top, is because they're not they're not dropping the tools. They're not dropping the pen and paper to work on their car. Everyone's got their respective jobs. And so I thought that was a really interesting thing. And I wonder if that's going on at Groves as well. Um, we know that's not happening at Erebus, where you'll see Barry Ryan helping getting on the tools. It's pretty interesting. You've got certain people leading different teams. You've got Barry Ryan, who's an engineer, at Erebus, and then you've got Matt Stone, who's a mechanic at Matt Stone Racing. And you see Matt Stone getting on the tools. Don't think we call that budget either. That's philosophy. Yeah, it's definite. I don't think, like, people will say that, oh, Roland Dane's funding all this, or the Red Bull team's got too much money and that's why it's winning, but it's not. It's the way they approach things. It's not about how much money you've got, it's how you spend it. Where you've got the Betty Clemencos and Charlie Schwerkoltz coming in and spending big dollars. Blanchard's is probably a good example of where things are going wrong as well, and Peter Gibberis is spending lots of money, but it's not really getting the results. He's probably spent millions and he's got one podium and a pole position in 3 years. It's not just money. But I think they had that with DJR Team Penske. They came in and they probably spent more money than anyone had spent ever. And they eventually started getting the results, but that was after they'd bought some of the biggest talents in the sport, with Ludo Lacroix and Scott McLaughlin. And Scotty was rubbish at starts until he was teammates with Fabian Coulthard, and when they were both on the front row, Fabian would smoke Scotty on the front row, and then Scotty would have the speed and then pass him later in the race. So there's so many tiny factors into things that go on, and I think that's what I find the most interesting about supercars, and you could find that in other motorsports as well. So yeah, I think it's weird because you got teams like Tickford, where I don't think, now who's like, do you think Sam Potter's getting on the tools working on Cam Waters' car? I think maybe he is. I'm not sure if we've seen too much of that. The Scotty era gives me nightmares. Just seeing that number 17 up the front winning every single race. Yeah, pretty much. Uh, I was at Tail and Bend in 2020 watching Scotty kind of smash everyone that round, and I think that was when Cam Waters won his first solo race, and I was thinking, as much as it annoys me watching Scotty win every single race, I knew it was we knew it was gonna come to an end sooner rather than later because we were hearing that he was gonna go to the United States and race IndyCar. So, it was like, it's n as much as you might want a different person to win a race all the time, it wasn't even fair. Sometimes he knew it was over before it started. As in just like a race that, like, you're like, "Okay, so Scotty's gonna win this one, but who's gonna come second?" There was a lot of that, especially in 2019. It was so boring. Um, you were kinda looking at the rest of the top 5 every race going, "Alright, so Scotty wins, but who comes second? Can Triple Eight?" Because Triple Eight in 2019 were struggling. They were racking up top 10s, they were racking up top 5s, and they were getting the occasional podium, but they were struggling so much. And then once they got that, whatever the fix was they got before Bathurst, gap sometimes was outrageous. Yeah, well, we had the same thing with SVG as well. Um, it just happens in motorsport. Only team to make Triple Eight look horrible. Yeah, but they were the 1.5 car team. They couldn't do it with 2 cars. And that was Jamie's great comment at Townsville, I think in 2020 when Whincup and SVG came through and they did that. SVG came through and he ran Fabian wide, and then that was an incredible pass. It kind of pissed me off a bit because it was a bit rude, but that's an SVG move, and that's just kind of what he did. And we saw so much of that, and I got fed up of watching people just get get out of the way for him when they should have been serving him up like Anton did. But like, there was only one car up the front most of the time. Fabian would qualify down the back or in the mid pack and have to make his way through the field. Um, so it's not quite the same. I've got stats somewhere. I've got really good stats somewhere. Hang on, I can find them. I've got something for Fabian somewhere. Yeah. Was it Scotty? He ran wide. Okay. All right. I couldn't remember who it was. Yeah. That was that was the rude awakening. But it's Triple A. They've just got pace at Townsville. Not so much since Gen 3 though. Gen 3 is sort of shaken up where they're good and where they're not good. Um, hang on. What was it? Um, okay. What have I got here? This is his thing. It's 25. I need to switch it to 24. You're so triggered that day. Scotty used to get so triggered over whenever Triple Eight would shake the tree. Scotty was always it was so easy to fall out of the tree. Um, but you got to love that raw emotion as well when somebody's so talented and so dedicated to his craft that um, to sort of get rough played. Used to take the piss any chance he got close to Scotty too. Yeah, so I get why he was fuming. Scotty versus SVG is so different to Cam versus Chaz. I think Cam and Chaz give each other a lot more space and a lot more respect when because they know that they could just crash out because they race that hard. Then you look at Scotty and SVG. Scotty's such a polite racing driver that SVG will just run him off the track and then Scotty will have to come back. So, uh, I don't miss watching some of those races because I think it pissed me off a bit too, just watching him. You know, it's crazy the passage of time. that it used to feel like right now we're watching them battle and now they're gone. They're both gone. Now we've got Brock Feeney whipping everyone at the moment, and he could do all right in Townsville. We sort of expect him to do all right in Townsville, but it's going to be difficult. I think Randall might do all right. I think Payne will definitely do all right. What did I do? I was going to look at Fabian Coulthard. I'm always interested to look at Fabian Coulthard because I got to find my stats for him. I can't remember what it is though. It's like average qualifying something, some weird stat that I've got. No, not this. I don't even know if I have it. I might be making it up. Oh, I know what I can look for. The level of supercars isn't that great these days. Well, at the moment, we're waiting for Brody Kostecki to get for DJR and Brody Kostecki to be consistently up the front, giving Brock Feeney hell, because we know that Brody will do that. We know Brody will either beat Brock, and same as when Cam Waters is up there. Cam Waters was giving Feeney a hard time. It might be the nostalgia, but the names aren't hitting like they used to. It could be nostalgia. It really could be. I've got like a hot take about Greg Murphy. Growing up, I was a Greg Murphy fan. I've got this little man here with the 51 Kiwi bird. I was a Greg Murphy fan growing up, and I looked at the stats, and I looked at his stats versus Rick Kelly, Todd Kelly, Stephen Richards, and where did he go after that? He smashed Paul Wheel. He kind of had a rubbish time. Oh, he smashed Cameron McConville. Then he went to be teammates with Jason Richards, and Jason Richards gave Murph a run for his money in qualifying as well. And then he smashed Jason Bargwanna. Not had the chance to go to Triple Eight and wanted to be loyal to Erebus. Yeah, that was the impression that I got, that Brody wanted to stay at Erebus, but things just didn't. I don't know if he got the chance to go to Erebus. I guess that they felt that, what is it? Yeah. Well, we don't know. We just don't know. But I imagine there might have been. It probably was just out of the question because Brody was doing so well. He's good at Pukekohe and Bathurst. That's about it. Yeah. Yeah. I loved Murph. I loved that he was very heart in his sleeve. And he was good at Pukekohe for a while until he got into Tasman Motorsport. And I think it was 2007 was the last one at Pukekohe. And then they went to Hamilton for a while. And he was just he wasn't in good cars, and he wasn't out qualifying his teammates. Murph was always awesome at Bathurst, except for in 2012 when he was in just a rubbish dump car at Kelly Racing because they just decided not to upgrade the cars. But yeah, Murph got his ass handed to him. The most glazing one was 2004 when he was teammates with Rick Kelly. Rick won more races than Murph, and in 2004 they drove Rick's car at Bathurst because Murph just was struggling with it. I reckon he changed chassis once or twice. Might not have been in 04. I reckon he might have had the same car. Is it a hot take? Yeah, but my other hot take was about Mark Winterbottom. I think that maybe him retiring at the end of last year was the right thing to do. And that's because if you look at the results between David Reynolds and Mark Winterbottom, they would both qualify. I think third was the highest they qualified. If Garth Tander went to Triple Eight, oh my god, it would be cooked. If Garth was at Triple Eight, let's say Lowndes retired early or they got rid of Lowndes and put him up against Whincup, that would be juggernauts. butting heads. You'd see Garth Tander, and his driving style changed. Well, I don't know if his driving style changed, but Garth used to be really good in qualifying and not so good in the races. His average results were better in qualifying than in the races. And then when he spent too much time at HRT and their cars became crap at qualifying, he just got better and better at carving his way through the field. So I don't know if a 2008 Garth at Triple Eight would be that good. I would probably expect Garth to beat Wing Cup. I would, but that's something that we'll never get to know. Race pace he got late in his career. Yeah. Well, like Garth never got bad. He was a GRM for a bit too long, but he was still carrying that team and dragging the car into the top 10. But just spending too much time at HRT like James Courtney did, they ended up developing an ability to carve their way through the field. Because you'll look at I think it was 2000 or something like that. Garth Tander was just qualifying at the front. Actually, is this what I've got? Yeah, racing reference. I will. Hang on, I'll try and guess. When he was a co-driver, Shane's just going as fast as a wing car. Yeah, well, he's just that good. Hang on. We go to here. This is going to everyone out. Okay, to get out of that. All right, now Garth Tander. This is a great website called racingreference.info. They stopped updating the information in 2022, but there's really good stuff here. Average starts, average finishes. So early in his career, his average starts are equal to or better than average finishes. 2006 is kind of bad. 2007, it's good. Good. Then we get to 2013, Car of the Future, HRT kind of shits the bed. And then he just starts doing so much better. And then that's the end of his full-time career in 2018. So, yeah, pretty much Car of the Future was when it just switched to them having to carry the car through the field every race. So, you stop that. Yeah, so that's a great resource that I got there. I can't remember how I found it. You just find things digging around, but that was an interesting thing I found when I went, oh, Garth used to be good at qualifying, as in consistently good at qualifying, but I haven't gone into enough detail to make such a bold claim as to say that he was, because we know Garth can just pull a lap out of his ass and just slam the thing on pole position or the front row. You agree with my Winterbottom take? But yeah, okay. I didn't actually finish elaborating on that. So Reynolds and Winterbottom, I think they both qualified third at some stage, and at some stage in the season. Finished in 2018. I don't know. He was doing all right in 2018. I did I did a video recently, a lot better than any of my sorry attempts at live streams. I did a video called "How Good Was Mark Winterbottom." That one goes through the qualifying results and like top 10 race finishes and qualifying head to heads. So you get to see how much better at qualifying Frosty was compared to Scott Pye. And Scott said that he wasn't very good at qualifying until he was teammates with Frosty, and then he learned how to do a lap. Like, there are some guys that are just that good that it takes a while for their teammate to actually start beating him. And by 2023, Scotty was more regularly out qualifying Frosty. But in 2024, Davey Reynolds and Mark Winterbottom, I think they're both qualified third at some stage. And Frosty would take a podium, and that would be he had 2 top 10s that year, and they were both podiums. And Reynolds would qualify in the mid pack and drag the car up into the top 10. And that was how his year went. Frosty just struggled. He did not have it. He did not have that regular ability to do that. All right, I'm going to look at my tour numbers just so I'm not telling fibs. So, okay, fourth up to second, third up to second. Okay, now we look at other times that he went into the 10. Townsville, Tassie. So that's what? 4 top 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4. The rest of the time, he was qualifying way down the back and having a rubbish time of it. And then we look at Reynolds. Reynolds was just racking up more top 10s. He was qualifying a bit better too. But you could also say it's like a first-year honeymoon. Like, Anton's having like a first-year honeymoon too. He's just racking up the results. Everyone's having a great time. Maybe come his second year, maybe come 2026, Anton's going to be having a rubbish year. But it just looked like you got Sandown. Well, Reynolds and Luffy just pulled one out of the hat. They just do that sometimes. But hang on, where was I? So you got qualified 5th at Bathurst, dropped down to 6th, but that was a kind of a lucky round. 3rd, down to 22nd, spun by Kostecki. I don't really remember how that one unfolded. I think Frosty he just did slightly better laps, but with a lot less consistency. So, Bathurst session from David. Oh my god, did he find a new home where he could find the Erebus form? Then he just stunk it up. Yeah. Well, which Bathurst? It was because he got the Bathurst 500 was the one where they had some issue with the car, sent it out, it did one lap, and he stuck it in the shootout. And they did that in one race, and they did that in the next race. Bathurst 500, yeah. So the first round of the season, yeah, it was a. But he's found plenty of Erebuses too. He was at Groves and he was doing such a great job. He was like the best driver at the end of 2023. Yeah, I don't know. Made me think he was about to cook. Yeah. We can only hope that something like that would happen. Like, you could say that the Antons having such a great time. Fucked up leaving Grove. I think they pushed him. From what I understand, and I've done a video about this with talking about why Richie Stanaway got sacked from Groves. Groves' approach was they offered the experienced drivers a 1-year deal, and they offered the young hot shots multi-year deals. So it was at the end of they offered Davey Reynolds a 1-year deal. They offered Richie Stanaway a 1-year deal, and for some reason Richie took that 1-year deal because he thought it would be a good deal, and he's ended up doing a couple of years in supercars again, so it's good. But yeah, I think Reynolds was offered a 1-year deal, and he said, "No way, Jose," and spoke to Charlie, and Charlie was like, "Yeah, I'll give you a multi-year deal." It made me have a disdain for Team 18. I already had a disdain for Team 18, and that was because of the getting rid of Lee Holdsworth. And then I've listened to, I think it was Charlie Schwerkolt did an interview with Greg Rust. It's a 2-parter, and Charlie was talking about how he just likes to find like a good deal. And so, you could be pissed off about getting rid of Lee Holdsworth, but he got Mark Winterbottom, who at the time I think still had enough left in the tank to do a great job, pole position, racking up top 5s, and where was I? He was He kind of brought a great deal together for 2019. They had the technical alliance, which for some reason they didn't have a technical partnership, a technical alliance with Triple Eight in terms of setups. Um, but I did a video about Team 18 as well, saying whether I think it was, what did I say? What was my video called? What was my video called? I don't know how to navigate anything on this freaking thing. What's that button do? There we go. It might take me a while to find it too. It's old. Hang on. No, it's not. Why Team 18 could be better in 2024. That's what my video is called. 2019. Yeah, 2019 was when Frosty stuck it on the front row at Tassie. I was a bit disappointed they didn't have race pace for it, but maybe fourth is okay. I guess. If you got Scott McLaughlin and Triple Eight to be competing against, if you're finishing behind, then that's fine. So, but Team 18 started with an X Triple Eight car that was not the same as what Triple Eight were running. So they were in the woods without a flashlight. That's what was going on, because Jamie jumped in Lee Holdsworth's 2016 car and he went, well, we've given him some pointers, but this is not the same as what we've got. So to see them racking up any top 10s and qualifying in the top 10 was impressive in the Lee Holdsworth era. And then the 2019 onwards, they were Triple Eight customers. I think they still are. I'm a bit confused about whether there's any value at all in a technical alliance with Triple Eight if you didn't get Triple Eight cars. If you built them yourself, what's the point in getting their setups? Unless you just assume that all the Camaros are the same. So, which some people do. Some people think that all the Camaros are the same, all the Mustangs are the same, but not all the teams are the same, and not everybody was built the exact same way. That car Holdsworth had was stinky, and the luck he had, holy shit. He had terrible luck. 2017 was good, but the car kept on crapping itself because their maintenance was that bad. Like, it had been just bad for years. Whoever was driving the car, Frosty and Scotty would have issues with the cars. David Reynolds has encountered issues with the cars. I think Anton, what was Anton's thing at Darwin? It had something where the thing just wouldn't start, and they're like, "Oh no, we got to start it." And you just see it all the time. It's the way they run that team. They are not running it so that they can get those. They can have a Triple Eight experience. They're just not running it properly. Frosty and Darwin off the front row car just wouldn't go. What year was that? 2020? 2020 or 21? I think it might have been 21. Was that? I don't have the stats for that. Might have been 21. Last year. The last year? There was another one. Yeah, okay. Last year. Off the front row? Well, I've got my stats here for 24. Hang on. What am I showing now? This is 25. No, this is 24. Okay. So, Frosty, Darwin. No. Not last year. I'm thinking 21. The one I'm talking about is 22, where the electronics or something just shit itself, and he had to pull to the right straight away, otherwise he's going to get cleaned up. Dove up the inside of Anton. Yeah, I've got a picture. I found it. I had to find a picture to talk about it. SVG just plowing into but wasn't Anton? Wasn't it? He took out Will Davison. I thought he took out. Yeah, I thought it was Will Davison. He bumped him off, and got steering damage, and then ruined his own race and Will Davison's. And, he probably wasn't gonna get any pity points that day. Um, yeah, just coming out of the exit of the first corner. The car behind spun and on. That was the first lap. That was 2021, wasn't it? I don't know. There's so many races. Oh, it makes me wish I had the stats for all this, and then I could actually fact check. I could Google it. Hang on. Hang on. I'll try. I'll try and Google it. Car behind spun and done. I think it was 2021. I think it was 2021 because one Supercars. Because they had the Dayglow cars, right? The Dayglow. No, it's not going to have clips or anything. Hell. Why not? Let's go on YouTube and do like little reacts. I could. I can switch this to. Hang on. What can I do? I can just do like a share thing. I have to guess freaking. I'm going to trip everything out. So I think it was 2021. That's qualifying. We want a race. That is not. That's 2020. That's 2021. I'm gonna mute that because we don't need to know. So there's Frosty qualifying in P4. Is that him creeping forward a tiny bit? And then he's just Cam had a shit start too. Frosty's right up there. Is this the one where his car just shits? Or did he actually get a good result? Look at Wing Cup. Jesus Christ. It's just nuts. Oh my God. Yeah. I guess we'll just watch the thing. Now, who was that? That's Will Brown in the number 9 there. So Will Brown was having a storming year on occasion. Now, I was talking about this. This is the round where you got 3 Kostekis, right? Jake Kostecki, Brody Kostecki, and Kirk Kostecki. And I don't know what race it was, but I think it might have been this one, where you end up with 3 Kostekis in the top 10. There's Fabian working his magic, carving his way through the field. You got Reynolds and Heimgartner when they were teammates. Jeez. Hang on, I'll check if you said anything. You might have. Team Sydney. My God, that team's dunk. The one at Sydney. Oh, hang on, I'm tripping everything out. Yeah, team Sydney were running on hopes and dreams. Fabian made that team look good. Oh, Goddard. Poor Zane Goddard, man. He had talent, and I reckon his management screwed him over because I reckon he should have still been here. And then he had that unfortunate thing with in 2022 Bathurst, and no. Oh no, Jake Kostecki having a crap time. MSR needed to get their pit stop sorted. Actually, this is a threaded wheel now, isn't it? There's nothing you can do about it, really. Although I think sometimes it is the people on the equipment, because you see Barry Ryan saying stuff, but you'd have to catch him in a sober moment. There's Slady back when BRT were actually good. Oh no, they're gonna have to pull that off or it's gonna fall off. Classic BRT back when they were good. There's Scotty fixing something, Team 18 car. My goodness. Except those are super sprint rounds, right? So they were just flying through the field. You got Jack LeBrock in the Tickford car, and he's well down the order. Where is he? Oh no, this is 11th. He's having an okay time. But when you're in a Tickford car, you kind of need to be doing a bit better than okay. And there goes Randall in the wild card. Randall doing his classic Randall thing where he falls off the track and has to carve his way back through the field. Yeah. Maybe this isn't the chaos one. Oh, we go. Wing Cup. Oh, what? Freaking camera screwing us over. Mozzie versus Wing Cup. Everyone's being nice to one another. But that 2021 car, I never felt like it was actually fast. I always, like the 2021 Walkinshaw Mostert car, I never felt like it was actually good. I felt like he was just scraping by in that thing. 22 the same, like I think it was in 24 that it was like, oh, he actually has a good car this year. And bye-bye. No? That's just great racing. That's just great racing, watching these guys not bang into one another, having a red hot go, and you got Frosty in the background there, threatening to do something if anyone screws up. Like Whincup doing such a great job there, but you got to remember he's in a Triple Eight car. He should be running second, not battling for fifth. And is that Will Davison probably? Because Will Davison was better than Anton in 2021. Wasn't faster, but no, you got Anton there. Anton was all right with Darwin. But look at that, we're just watching the battle for fifth now. Why are we watching the battle for fifth? You'll see, yep, SVG's pulling away. Oh, Davo's sitting there pretty in P2. That's why. There you go. Oh, Jamie came second there. Is that right? All right. A third there. Yeah. Rightio. I'm just looking silly. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So, we want to watch, hang on. Do we want to watch another one? Hang on, I'll drop that for a second. 2022 absolutely fucked him. I'm not sure who you're talking about there. He did good with the triple. Yeah, Zane Goddard. What I read on Speed Cafe was that Zane Goddard's management said, we don't want to sign a new deal with MSR. So then they went to Tickford and did the co-drive with James Courtney. And yeah, wrong place, wrong time for Zane. Just sort of screwed up and people looking at him badly. And he did a good job in the Triple Eight wildcard. Unfortunately, because he was driving the 2023 Camaro, he had the gear tower fail on him, so he could have had a much better time. He was okay at Darwin, but he wasn't great. He was keeping up, which is kind of what you need to do. But he'd also been in the category and done plenty of races before then, so probably been the worst wild card for them. Yeah, and that's sort of what I was saying. Really, I don't know about the worst. What have we had? Declan Fraser had a great time at Bathurst. They only did one race in 22, I think. Then they had Zane Goddard. Then they had Cooper Murray. Oh yeah. Brock Feeney in 2021 with Russell Engel. Then Declan Fraser. Then Goddard. Then Cooper Murray. Yeah. Yeah, and this year we've got Zach Bates. Yeah. So Cooper did a great job last year. He's just been a bit of a mess. You'll see plenty of just mistakes, wrong place, wrong time, racing too hard. But he's got such talent. Pretty much like Goddard's got such talent. Um, Same thing he was doing in Super 2. Like, yeah, the 2024, I did a video about Cooper Murray called Captain Carnage. Like Cooper Murray, aka Captain Carnage, where I pretty much said um, he had like 4 top 10s in 10 races in the whole season. He was crashing into people. When he was good, he was really good. But when he wasn't good, he was involved in some unfortunate incident. Like he took out Cam McLeod unnecessarily. Um, and that was such an like everybody was kind of being they were all saying Cooper Murray is rubbish, and everyone was on Team McLeod. Yeah, like that was such an unnecessary incident. A bit like Scott Pye and Jack LeBrock at Perth. It could be Perth for you. Perth is kind of one of those tracks where cars can get damaged pretty badly. But yeah, he could have just let go of the throttle, give him a bit of space, and then have another go. But I'm not a racing driver, and I don't know if you're a racing driver, but yeah, has anyone who loses his head? I think sometimes when you're in the moment, it could be a bit hard to disconnect, to be like, I'm just gonna let him go. Yeah, just a fan. Yeah, like me. Like, when you ever play racing games and you're putting a move on someone and maybe you could let it go, but you're like, "No, I got it. I can get him." And you just try so hard and you end up damaging the car and embarrassing yourself. Um, that can happen. I was at the Adelaide 500 in 2020. I'm from Adelaide, by the way. I'm from South Australia. And, we were doing the driver signings, and I was standing there near Nick Percat and Scott Pye when the Super 2 race was going on, and Kurt Kostecki had dove up the inside of Jack Perkins from way too far back and then bumped him and put him in the fence. And um, and the first thing I said was he just committed for too long. And Nick Percat was obviously pretty concerned about what was going on because he likes the juniors, he likes keeping an eye on them. But it's just like I think that's actually a legitimate thing that can happen in a race is that you just commit, you mentally cannot disconnect from putting the move on, and it's almost impossible not to do it, not to just go for the move. SVG is one of those guys who can go for the move and get away with it, but he did 15 years in supercars. There's probably plenty of times where he just fenced someone unnecessarily. The adrenaline is too much. Yeah, it'll just get in your head. You're like, I'm on. I can get him. And then you get up to the apex and you're not close enough and you bump him and he's in the fence and it's over. And I think both cars got crashed out in Super 2 race. Jack Perkins had a really difficult time there. I actually I was lucky enough to go into the Super 2 pits, into the tents, and it was like 8 o'clock at night, something like that, and the concerts were going on, and so we had this chance to go in there. I can agree to that, but it can only happen so many times before you're like, it's a character trait. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. How many times are you gonna be the do or die guy, and until you're just the die guy? But I saw there was someone up at 8 o'clock at night ironing out all the kinks in the front quarter panel of Kurt Kostecki's car to get it ready for the next race. And I reckon it was probably still a bit bent or twisted at the front end, probably just like Jack Perkins. Like once a car's been crashed, unless it's not too bad, it can screw you up for the weekend. Like we saw with Jack LeBrock at Darwin this year. and Jackson Evans, unfortunately, just got shoved in the fence and the damage was too much. I haven't seen the BJR video talking about it, but, um, I think Jack Perkins had a really good insight showing this is what's going on with the car, and, how many Gs was it? Was it like a 50 G impact or something like that? Where it's just bent this thing that's connected to this thing. Sorry for the language. When did you didn't swear, did you? I don't have a problem with language. I don't have a problem with bad language. If somebody was watching that did, then we'll be like, "All right, let's tone it down." But yeah, it can just get intense. Um, but in fixing cars, like I think sometimes you can have a big turnaround and everything's all right, but it depends on if it's at an angle or if it's a straight impact. Because if it's a straight impact, you might get lucky and you'll just have that front section's all bent up and you just plop it off, put another one on, and then off you go again. You're all good. But if you're at an angle, it's hit not just that front section, it's also hit the section behind, which is pushed into the back and pushed up into where the driver sits, um, which is what happened with Jackson. So I think there are incidents like that can happen um, that might be a bit more detail on why a crash can happen and you're just out. Chaz Mostert 2019 Gold Coast. Yeah. Well, that one was a bit of an angle too because he was in the shootout and he's come through and he's just scraped the fence and just fired straight off into the other fence. Um, it's just nuts. Um, and I did a video back in 2019. Um, it took me a bit too long to make, but um, it was like at the time I was making it, I think like Chaz was up to like third in the championship. I think he ended up fifth at the end of 2019 because he just had a few too many crashes and incidents, and just had a difficult time. But not just Chaz's one, but I think Scott McLaughlin's wasn't very good either. But Chaz was out for the weekend. Saturday shootout, he goes in, sticks it in the fence. Weekend done. Pack up and go home. Scotty was probably a bit more the worrying one because he just came in too hot, clipped the tire bundle, banged into the opposite wall, came back, flipped the thing on its head, and he was so shaken up that he was just all messed up. Yeah, and the shock absorber on the balcony. Oh my god, it's just crazy. You know what I love about being a fan of supercars was like knowing all these little details, things like that. It's crazy, crazy stuff. A lawsuit waiting to happen. Well, motor racing is dangerous. Motor racing is dangerous. I was at Formula One at the Australian Grand Prix in 2023 when Kevin Magnussen smacked uh, into the fence after turn 6, and somebody got hurt, and then people were like, "Oh, you know, but like it was someone's fault." But it says on the back of the ticket, "Motor racing's dangerous." Well, we don't have physical tickets these days, but they have it written on your freaking digital pass or whatever you want. Motor racing is dangerous. You've got really fast cars. Bits can just fly off. They actually can just fly off. So when you see someone crashing, get away. You might get hit by a bit of car, and it might go in your eye or something. Um, but they say this stuff because they know that people could get hurt. People have died in motor racing events. Um, yeah, yeah. Well, I love it. I love F1 as much as yeah. Well, I mean, like, it was only like tiny bits of Kevin Magnussen's car that just flown off. And we were like, "Oh, there's a bit of a disturbance in the crowd over there. What happened?" And then we're like, "Oh, Kevin Magnussen crashed just there. Oh, okay." Because where we were, we were there where Alex Albon went off early in the race. Um, there's a couple of them. Um, but yeah, just it's just racing. Just bits of car fly off sometimes. Um, Me and my mate were there when at the Adelaide 500 in 2020 when Lee Holdsworth and Gary Jacobson had the weird crash in practice. I think it was the end of practice one on the Thursday where George Russell crashed at the end. Yeah, we were up. Yeah, we were just after turn 6, and I think that was where Russell had the weird one with Alonso. Um, yeah, well, wasn't the allegation that Alonso brake tested George or something. It wasn't even that slow. He might have just let go of the throttle or something a little bit. And then we know what George is like. He's a bit of a whinger. He just says stuff and be like, oh, didn't he do something to try and check Verstappen up at Canada? What he brake checked Max and then like, oh, Max passed me on a safety car. Like he can't be you can't be doing the boy who cried wolf sort of stuff. Otherwise, people don't take you seriously. Oh, they all do it to Max. Oh, okay, I'm gonna watch Austria this weekend. A little bit of anyway. I got other stuff to do. Um, but yeah, well, they all want to give it to Max because Max has been giving it to them for so long. You know, I mean, especially with Max about Lando as well. Like, was it was it Mexico? Just way too intense. So much they're desperate to get back at him. Max is just smart. Max is like SVG. He's just one of those guys where he's just got that extra brain power to think about these other little things. And wheel to wheel is abysmal. He's just he's like SVG. He'll just run him off the track. No worries. Come and get me. Uh yeah. Except at what was it Spain? Was it the Spanish Grand Prix with George? Where no, there's a lot of detail in it. George has run Max off track, and then Red Bull have said, "Max, give the position back to George," and then he does briefly, and then he outbrakes him into the corner, runs him off, and bumps him. Yeah, he didn't need to give the spot back, but he just did what he was told. I bet he's not gonna do stuff like that again. He's gonna be like, "Do you want to double check that before I give someone a spot back?" Like, it's just silly. But, it can happen. It happened with, whatever you wanna call them, V-Carb, Toro Rosso, AlphaTauri. They do that sort of stuff all the time as well. Um, what was the thing with, Carlos Sainz and, Isaac Hadjar? He's crashing out on his engine, yeah. Yeah, I might have missed that bit. I don't think I didn't see too much of it. I just watched the race, and then I saw a bit of what I watched, like, the driver interviews afterwards. But yeah, but Isaac Hadjar and, blocking Carlos Sainz, people were like, "How come Isaac didn't see him?" I was like, "Maybe his engineer didn't tell him that Carlos was on a lap. He should have been able to look at the times." They've got, like, a mini map, haven't they, that tells you where the cars are on the track. They should have been like, "Watch out, there's a fast car coming." Like, the Williams is on a fast lap, stay out of the way. Because Isaac was probably just working out what he was supposed to do next. But because they had a clash earlier in the year. Okay. What, Isaac and Carlos Sainz? The engineer told him he wasn't on a lap in Bahrain. Right. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember that one. But yeah, there's all sorts of like confusing things that can happen. Damage signs side pod. Right. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember that one. What did we start the year with? Australia, right? And then we had whenever we had Bahrain, I don't know, the calendar confuses me. um yeah. We can do we want to watch another highlights reel? Hang on. What one was the one where Frosty hang on. Oh, we'll watch the next Frosty one. Bahrain was second or third. I don't know. Yeah, this is just a confusing mess. Yeah, we'll watch it's 22. Okay, we'll find it. Okay, all right, we'll find it. We'll find 20. Which one's the first one? 17? This is so confusing. Okay. Well, so here we go. Reynolds on the front row versus Wolves. I remember being excited for this one. So there's Frosty down the back there. And no, maybe he had a good day. Maybe he did. There's LeBrock up there. LeBrock turns it on Darwin. Oh, somebody's off. Somebody just put a wheel in the dirt. Yeah, maybe it's a different one that's got the one that Frosty had the thing buckle down off qualifying up the front. Wait, this is the one with Courtney just taking everyone out. Fuck. Oh my god. Oh, this is the round where Gary Jacobson raced for his life against Zach Best and had to take a long break. Oh my god. It's like the first race of the weekend. He just cleaned everyone up. Poor Scott Pye. Poor James Courtney. Oh, it's crazy. Like, I don't think there are too many. I don't really dislike any of the drivers. I'm always just like, I wish every driver was having a better time. But it's racing. You can't have everybody. Everybody can't win. Somebody has to come last. But yeah, I remember the race suits too. Like how long it took for them. Um, I think they'd only just got the Snowy River Caravans thing on, and this is what after Perth he got the podium at Perth. Then they go to Darwin. Well, they might have gone to Winton because Winton was in there too. But yeah, they did a good job on that car. He smashed it right up. And that is a crooked looking Mustang. So I can't quite see him. Off comes JC. Skittles! Oh my god. Oh wow. They hit Randall somehow by accident there. Now, I think Jacobson was actually involved in this one. And Jacobson was one of my favorite drivers. And I was like, it was so unfortunate because he ended up getting sacked after this weekend because he just wasn't dragging the car up where they thought it should be. Yeah, he's just hanging on for dear life. Here we go. Oof. Yeah. Not a good time, that one. Looking at the damage on that actually reminds me of Nick Percat at Newcastle, where it was in 2019, I think, and somebody's gone in the fence and they bounced back and it's just wiped out the side of Percat's car. And I was like, I can't believe he survived because that could have been disastrous. He could have gotten really badly hurt. But because the driver situated a lot more central to the car rather than straight on the right hand side, he was safer. So I don't know when they did that. That was a Mark Larkham innovation. He likes to do Formula One things to supercars. Oh, Brody and Brownie down the back, 18th and 20th. You love to see it. Battling for their lives against Tim Slade in the BRT car. Uh, Brody's already come up 5 spots past Brownie. So this is what I'm talking about. Brody would do his thing. He would cook. Brownie was just struggling in that 22 Erebus car. Um, they're just different kinds of drivers. Brody's just a beast. Doesn't matter what he's driving, he'll make it do its thing. Just passing rookie Brock Feeney. Oh, off he goes. Rookie error. Uh, oh my god. Yeah, he's just outbraked himself or something. Like, what are you expecting? Cold tires, and off he goes. Oh my god, how long is this? This is like a 10-minute highlight reel. Jesus Christ. Barely highlights. I love the recaps because I think I didn't have KO. Now I got KO again, so I can watch everything. But when I didn't, I was like, I love the recaps. So like people who don't have much money can watch pretty much most of the race, and they can have a great time. But I love seeing LeBrock up there. LeBrock at Darwin. It's just a good thing. You got Jake Kostecki in the Tickford car as well, and he's I thought Jake Kostecki was all right. I talked about him a bit in my Thomas Randall video a couple of years ago. Because I did in 2023 I did a video about every single driver and what I think of them, and just my opinions, my hot takes, whether I was right or wrong. You got Mozzie coming through the field, passing Andre in his first year at BJR. There's Reynolds. The Grove cars were actually really good in 22. Now, did he have a pit error? No, he's still running up the front. Who won? Who won? Davo. Davo or SVG? One of them. There's Monster. Where is he? They're all pitted. He's down in 8th. Yeah, look at Brody. He's up into P11, up 12 spots. And then you got Brownie down in P20. But there might have been issues. So you don't really get the full story all the time. It can be difficult. That's why I liked the Tickford websites, that you get the driver interview and they would say, yes, what happened? And then you can actually get a pretty good idea of how their race went, what held them up, if they felt they had any speed at all. Cam versus Davo. Did Cam get the win? I guess he might have got the win. Cam was really good in 22. He just didn't get given the car to do the job every weekend. He was the only one that really gave SVG a run for his money too. And is this a win from Pole? I don't think Davo gets him at the last corner or anything. That would be crazy. You got Jack Smith down there battling against Jacobson. Where's What else? What else happened in this race? You got Frosty up there, LeBrock's up there. MSR in 2022 was actually really good. They were really impressed. I remember Todd Hazelwood being the top 10 of the championship, and then he was just I was just surprised. And then the car was crap at the end of the year. So there's that one. I want to see if you've said any more things. Scattering all over the track on the last lap. Hang on a minute. Where we're looking here. Race 16. All right, let's try race 16. I'm gonna have to find it. I don't know why it's not. Oh yeah, here we go. I'll put that back up for you. Hang on. I wanna read your comments first. Is this the year feature against Hazelwood Heimgartner? Don't remember. Hazelwood did go on the fence in Adelaide in 22. Coulthard on the fence. Percat's whole car disintegrated. Yeah. 2023 car of the future. They moved them inward. Okay. I didn't know that. I thought it was just like they were allowed to within restrictions. Because I heard that Mark Larkham did that with his Mitre 10 car back in the like 99 and stuff. Courtney almost died at Phillip Island. Took them half a lap to call the safety car. The hell was that scattering all over the track in the last lap on the front straight? Oh, Davison is not built like that to dive up the inside. No. All right. Let's have a look at race 16. Okay. Where are we looking? Race 16. Oh, this is me. I don't have YouTube Premium on this account, unfortunately. DJR lockout. You love to see it. Heimgartner in the second row there. Who's that? Is that Mozzie on the third row there? And then you got Frosty. Is this the one where his car dies? It's got to be one of them, right? Is it choking? Darwin is just a great racetrack. It always delivers. Oh, off he goes. Who's that? Hazelwood. And you got... Oh my God, guys, please don't do this. Don't ruin things. I reckon that was like that all race too. Here we go, SVG. No! Is this the one where he's desperate? Oh, poor Jack Smith. What happened? Did he just... He's off at a weird spot too, and there's Reynolds too. Yeah. We're going to get a replay and a highlights reel. That'll be helpful. And there's the Erebus boys making their way through. Oh, tripped over Pither. Brody. Crispy's livery was actually... That's a very, very nice livery. One of them was the one where Jacobson did something crazy. We didn't even get to see what happened to Reynolds and Smith. They just disappeared somehow. Zach Best, Jaden Ojeda, multiple wild cards. Bring them back. I want to see more Jordan boys. We want to see... We're going to see some... We've seen Zach Bates. We didn't see Zach Bates at Darwin. You know, I just realised that. Wasn't he supposed to do a wild card? Oh, wait. There goes Smith. He's just speared off by himself. All right. Reynolds has just been bumped or something. Well, that wasn't very helpful, guys. It's we saw that bit. We saw that bit as well. Oh, that was a weird one. Brody bumped into Pither and then Brownie's just plowed into him. That's weird. Huh. One of them's the one where Jacobson fences poor Zach Best. Oh. Ooh. That is a weird one. I don't know what happened there, but it's a weird one. Oh, shredded wheel. Damn it. Probably Brownie, right? Well, that's the end of the day, really. You're just gonna have to wobble around for the rest of the race, and no permanent damage. Damn. But yeah, Anton versus Will Davison for the race. That was good. I liked seeing that. Anton just had it over Will. Anton's a bit more ballsy. He'll have a go. You don't see it too often with you don't see it too often with Will putting the move on. Oh, Slady overcooked it. Off he goes. Oh, please don't take out Hazelwood. Oh, they're racing for sheep stations out there. What happened there? Did Gary get in front of Holdsworth somehow? He did not. He dropped a couple of spots, right? Holdsworth got past Jacobson. Sometimes it looks like it the other way, but it's not. And Jaimie's done a stop. Very nice. I reckon it's 21 where Frosty cooked it. I guess we'll watch race 18 or whatever it was. We just watched 17 highlights, so we'll watch 18 highlights and see what happens there. Darwin is just one of those tracks that you could watch. I watched every year from '98 through to present or something, through up to like 2011. 2007 was actually kind of boring. 2006 was boring too. No, 2007 wasn't boring because that was the one I described about Scafie and Todd Kelly and Lounsey and Wink Up. But it's one of those tracks that always delivers, except in 2014, where the only reason that any positions changed at all was because of bad pit stops or mistakes. Basically, nobody actually passed one. No one passed one another on track. And I saw that and I thought, why did we think 2014 was a good year? Maybe it was just Darwin that was crap. I reckon the tyres were just rubbish that year. Sometimes we do have like a bad year for tyres. It's I don't know. It can just be like that. Sometimes you just get really bad tires, which is unfortunate, really, because it shouldn't have to be like that. But this year is pretty good for tires. I don't feel like we've had very boring races, apart from that first race at SMP. There was a couple of positions being swapped around, but most of the time we were just watching it, looking at the front. Oh no! Oh, this must be the no. It was race 18 where SVG speared up and took out Davo, right? That's where it was. I got another cup of tea here. I'm either going to have a break soon or stop because the tea's going to be really cold because I've been doing this for an hour and a half. Oh my god. Frosty versus Feeney. Almost got him. Yeah. Frosty definitely retired at the right time. You know, some drivers always say they're as good as they're best driving as well as they ever could, but you shouldn't be getting beaten by your teammate. You shouldn't be, and I know it can be random, like they just got it this time, I'll get them next time, but it can be rough. SVG versus Mozzie, different tires, who knows? Now, 18 was the one where Mostert got the win against De Pasquale, right? on like he pitted early on lap 9 and just had the. But I reckon it was race 18 that was that one. What else we got going on here? Both Team 18 cars in the top 10, very nice. JC in the top 10, very nice. Where's Brody? P11. Just scooping up points. Brody proved himself in 22. When I saw that, I can't. I have to go back to see my predictions on what I thought was going to happen in 23, but I don't think I predicted that Erebus were going to be up there. I might have thought so because they were hyping themselves up, and sometimes you just give in to hype. But I think I started to think that Brody was better than Brownie. In 21, I was saying that Brownie was better than Brody. But I think the 21 car was just that good. The 21 Erebus car. Oh, here we go. Percat in the WAU Holden. Racing for 14th, holding up the field. Go, Nick, go. Hold him back. Hold him back. Don't let him pass. Is LeBron gonna get him? Oh my god, what the fuck are they doing? Jesus Christ. Holy crap. Oh my god. Oh, it's just so good sometimes. Oh. All right, now I'll have a look at your comments. That memory I have is elite. I'm doing my best. I don't remember everything. Zach Bates is doing Queensland. Yeah. Okay, where was I up to? Maybe I allowed it about it being race 16. I don't know. You know what race it was. You're right. It was 2021 race 12. Oh, you found it? Okay, kid. I'm just like I remember it was the blue car. It was the blue car. That was the blue Irwin car. All right, let's find. I want to watch that one. As much as I want to watch race 18 highlights, that one is the one that I pretty much remembered half the race. So we know what happened. 2021 race 12. 2021 race 12. Okay. Yeah, you can see Frosty's car dying. Hang on, I need to bring you back up. If you put audio, will you get flags? I'm not making money out of this, so I don't actually know. I think all that happens is you don't get the monetization. So I can put the audio on if you want. Really low. Yeah, obviously don't want to. We want to be able to hear me. So yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll have it down low so you can sort of hear the engine noises and stuff. So, yeah. Off we go again. Go back to this bad boy. And we'll get rid of the stupid freaking ads. Alright, skip. Something like that. I don't know if you can hear that at all. You're gonna have to tell me. Off we go. Oh my god, he just died immediately. And the Coulthard's already picked up 8 best spots. He was just that good at it. Oh, this is the one you were talking about where Anton spun around and it's absolute freaking carnage. Both the highlighter cars were involved. 2 BJR cars. Is that Garth again? Garth on the mic. Skittles. There's Ludo. Not happy. Yep. Oh. Yeah. What do you think it was, Garth? Was that electrical issue? Now, was this the one that we ended up with, like the crazy podium with Mostert getting the win, Percat second, Waters third? Because that was a great race result. I love some of those sorts of race results where you get those outlier guys getting the win. Where do you go? Where do you go? Oh, fuck. Oh. By the way, I've got a frosty head. If you can see that, you probably can. I got this at the Adelaide 500 last year. So, yeah, this is my little mascot. Just stick him there for you. That'll do it. Oh. Safety car, SVG up the front. Percat having a good time. Jake Kostecki up there. Brody this is the one with the three Kosteckis. This is like it's a tale of three Kosteckis. Add Kostecki. Add Kostekis, get carnage. It's not even that. They weren't even involved in it. Is that Pither up there? No, it's Jones. It's Macca Jones in 21. Pither was his co-driver. Jake Kostecki is not that bad, but maybe didn't have a good run. You got Kirk Kostecki up there. Oh. Well, we didn't hear the end of that. So Scotty got the penalty for that one. There's Bryce in the WAU car. Bryce wasn't too bad in that one, but sometimes they want another Chaz, but they wanted like a rookie Chaz. Reynolds, here we go. Tried his damn best not to take out forward, but that tire is going to be torched. Oh, there's Zane in there. There's Jack LeBrock. Wink up. What are you doing that far back? Something happened. He might have got caught up in that. He's down 11 spots from 6? I didn't see what happened then. It's a weird one. Maybe he pitted. Yeah. Lots of detail to learn about. But then you got the Erebus cars down there in 16th and 17th. It was a bit like that in 21. Sometimes they'd be down, sometimes they'd be up. The impressive thing is they went last, but you only have to beat Team Sydney to not be last, and the other two BJR cars. Here you got, it's Jacobson up there in 13th there, up against Will Davison, who's down the bottom for no reason. Where's Fabian? Oh, he got caught up in the carnage. That's right. Because Gary was doing all right in Team Sydney that year, and so that's why Peter Shibris took a chance on him, and he did have his time in the sun, And Albert Parker, who was just coming through the field and doing a great job. Then they went to Perth and he was nowhere. Well, this is what we get for some reason, where we get ads in the middle of the freaking thing. We didn't get ads in the 22 races. Maybe you don't get ads all the time. I don't know. I got YouTube Premium on my other email account, so the only reason I stream on this is the biggest channel. So unfortunately, it's just like that. Rookie error. How come Brody is 28 seconds down off Heimgartner? What? Well, they had a little adjustment there. Now, is this the one where SVG has a big pit issue? One of them is. Was it this year or was it 22? There was one. Yeah. Freaking hell. You have them, it happens. There's that. Gary's coming out. Look at how many people are in the pit lane. Just in that one spot. It's a bit hectic. They got what? The mic boom, the cameraman, and Larko. Yeah, it happens. Car 8 breach of minimum tire pressure. That stuff's just bullshit. Right? Isn't it just a safety thing? Because the higher the tire pressure, the more it heats up. Right? Which could potentially mean more grip, but could also mean that it's a higher chance of tire failure. But also in the same way, you got a range of tire. That's why they got minimum tire pressure. This was the one that was at the start of the race, right? Where they said it was okay at the start, and then later on they said, "Oh no, it's not okay." Oh, I love Brad. I love him. He's the best. Oh fuck. Oh my god. Well, it's all doing its thing now. Give it a moment for. Sometimes the racing isn't too. Oh my god! Oh my god! What are you doing? Jesus Christ, Heimgartner. That was very concerning. Oh, someone's in the pits just there. Moster? Frosty. Okay. Yeah, Moster's right up there. Moster, Waters, and Percat. Is this the one where JC and Brody bang into one another? The boost crash at Darwin. He just thought he'd give him a little boost. Look at this. Like, there were some of these race wins that made people think that Moster in 2021 was having a great time, but just sometimes they were on and other times they were just not on. Which is pretty walk and choy for them. It's just what they do. Oh, yeah, yeah. You can't cut the bit. You got to go back onto the track and then go around. You can't go straight through those corners. But look at that triple Kostecki top 10 and Randall in the top 10 and 21, which it kind of annoyed me that Randall didn't just come in 22, setting the world on fire. He was kind of struggling. He was very up and down. Very up and down is what it was. He showed his moments, and then he was like up, and then he was down. And he was up, and then he was down. Yeah. Oh, he's never going to be worried about Cam. He knows Cam's going to be a threat if he can be. Oh. Yeah. All right, now I'm gonna check your comments. All right. Yeah, yeah. These are like double size cups of tea. It's not the same one. I had two. I've got two cups of tea. It's like a whole pot, and I put one in one. I filled up both of them before I started. Fiji did not give an F. No, he did not. Only Pokemon I remember Percat getting in WAU was Adelaide. That's the only one he did get. Yeah. Furlough Dune Side Boy Frosty. Which one punches Scott Pye? It was Jake, wasn't it? No, so that was actually a misunderstanding by the media. It was just blown out of proportion. Scotty talked about it in one of the podcasts, one of the Apex Hunter podcasts, where he said they were drunk. They were just ended up like falling over a bunch of tables and chairs and stuff, and then and it was just blown up by the media. There wasn't actually any kind of issue with him, and I don't think he actually punched Scott. I think I was on the outside of the crash. Had to go on the grass to avoid. Okay, yeah. How the hell did you remember the podium? I know I'm like that. I remember the crazy race podium sometimes. There's a memorable one. How the hell is he still swimming? Yeah, yeah, I know. If it was food, it would be taking me like 5 hours to eat the food, but no. All right. What else do we want to do? Do we want to look at more stats, or we want to look at another highlights? Another highlights reel. What do we got? Because that was the crazy one where Frosty's car had a hiccup at the start of the race. I like 2021, but I don't know. Either or, happy to do whatever. Okay. We'll look at some stats. While I'm sure my reactions can be entertaining at times, I do like just knuckling down and looking at some stuff. So, all right, let's get back to the business and look at the 2025 stats. 2025. Oh. Okay. So we got Randall's one I like to look at because he's got talent and he's got speed. Sometimes he just ends up in incidents. SMP was a particularly interesting one to look at. I remember he was in the drivers only podcast straight away, like after the first round. And somebody asked him, like, how'd your weekend go? How come you were up there at the start and what happened? And he's like, he just didn't really say anything. He was a bit embarrassed. Which, you would be. I'm sure he's trying. I'm sure he's doing his best, but I don't rate him that highly. I don't say I said Randall wouldn't be in the top 10 of the championship or something like that. I said he wouldn't be fifth because he was fifth last year, and I thought that was just a lucky result. He could do it again, but he's not in the top 10 now, and he should be. But he's just not. He's just not getting it done. What else? Jimmy Golding. Yeah. Premier are just so inconsistent. Jimmy's a good driver. I mean, look at Darwin. Just dragging that thing by the scruff of the neck up several positions. And we got Albert Park. I need to watch Albert Park and see what actually happened. I don't, unfortunately, because of the TV rights, we don't get to watch that stuff. I'd have to go on KO and watch it through that. Which I could do, but that's probably more illegal than just watching highlights on YouTube because that stuff's free access. I'm actually paying for KO. Taupo. It's just very very up and down. Tassie Jimmy was really strong, but just Premier I like Groves without doing the 888 thing of learning how to win races. And I'm not sure if signing Ludo is the solution to having a fast car or not. They've got fast cars. They do not have the know-how to keep the cars up there. Like, how many good weekends have they had? Like, if we said a good weekend was top 10 every single race, it's just Tassie. Otherwise, it's like, here's a couple of good ones, here's a bad one. Here's a couple of good ones, here's a bad one. Here's a bad one, here's a bad one. It's just not good enough. Andre Heimgartner doing all right, it was good to see at the start of the year that BJR were having such a good time. That they were up there again at the start of the year. But then they kind of gone back into it. But then you got, look, good weekend, 3 top 10s, another good weekend at Taupo, 3 top 10s. That's why Heimgartner's battling for the finals, and that's why Jimmy's down in like 16th or something. Jack LeBrock. I was looking at Jack LeBrock before when I was doing the stats this morning. Or it wasn't this morning because that was way too early. Yesterday, I think I did I finished doing all these numbers. They've got a fast car at Erebus. You can see they can put it in the top 10. They're in the top 15 most of the time. And they're able to just drag that thing into the top 15 most of the time. So he should be top 15 in the points. But it's just a bit unlucky some of the time, especially in that first one where Ryan Wood's car died on the straight and everyone was checking up because you're not allowed to pass anyone until you get past the control line. And Jack just got caught up in it and banged into the fence and did a lot of damage. It was just, and his performance to get into second in the shootout, I was clapping. That was like, good job. Go, Jack. This is what we want to see. And he just got caught up in a lot of carnage at Albert Park as well. Solid start to the year at SMP. 10th, 12th, 10th. Interlocked wheels with Golding forcing Jack off track. But he still ended up 10th anyway. But yeah. I don't have the reasons for every single race. So that's why I think it's just for SMP. And then I just hadn't gone back to it for a while. I think I hadn't even done Albert Park until like 2 days ago, and then I started going through them. And then yesterday I did Darwin. BRT cars. I mean, we just know they're down the back. Sometimes they've got the pace, and JC will just stick it up where it has no business being, and then just drag a result out of it. Jackson Evans. Not really breaking the 10. He didn't break the 10 at all until Tassie in terms of qualifying. Um, but he has been able to race his way up. Not very often though. Not as often as you might think. So Tassie was strong, we know that. Yeah. But it's a BJR car. Maybe we're expecting everybody to get big results if they don't really need them. You are sharing another application window. Yeah. All right. What have you had to say? Too nice for a racer. I want to Mickey Mouse Super 2 Championship. The Nissans for OP. What, Randall or Fullwood? Those are the two Super 2 champions who drove Nissans. I think Randall's the one I was talking about. Randall's popular, maybe because he's just saying, "Yeah, I'll do an interview." Yeah, Randall. I don't. I've done a few videos where I kind of bag Randall, and I feel a little bit bad about it. But it's like, okay, I think sometimes people say that he's really good. I saw on Speed Cafe in the comments section, this guy was saying, "Oh, Randall's better than Waters," and everybody said, "What planet are you from? Well, you are clearly not from Earth and clearly have not been watching Supercars to have a valid opinion on who's good and who's not good." So, like sometimes you do get a bit of an idea of what's going on, and then you find out you're wrong if you just really knuckle down and look at the numbers. You should have won a race by now. He keeps bottling it. He's had a few big chances. Let's flick it to 24 because that's hang on. I wish I could just switch it to things. I don't know how to. I don't know what I'm doing. I just do it like this. We do it like the 2024. Yeah. Okay. Now Randall, he's up there in fifth, where he has no business being. So here's all the times that Randall did something stupid. Run wide. All right, maybe an easy mistake. This is Grand Prix as well. He was just like qualified up there and kept making mistakes. Forced off track in a battle with Wood. Yeah, Wood raced a bit hard sometimes. Locked up and went off track, taking Hill with him. Yeah, I wasn't happy about that. That was like the last lap of the race. Just gone. Oh no, hang on. Was that? Did Wood take out Hill this year? Yeah, that was. Yeah, that might have been last year. One with Golding, right? I'm getting distracted. So there was one at Gold Coast, right? Was it Gold Coast or was it Adelaide? I remember Adelaide, he led like most of the race. He led a big chunk of the race. But he just didn't have it. Didn't have the race pace to do the job. Townsville? Remember Townsville, he was up there. He just doesn't always have the race pace. And I don't know if that's really much to do with the driver. There might be some in the way they drive the cars, not good on tires, or the way they achieve their lap times, or things like that. But he'll get there. I'm sure he's working really hard with Cam to improve all of that. It's just not happening as quickly as we might like. You know, he's in his fourth year in the category. We should be expecting a win. He's had a couple of podiums, and every time we see him, they're like, "Oh, Randall got a podium," and it's like he should have got a win by now. You know, how come Cam's the only one racking up wins? And what's that? Cam had one in Perth. Cam had one Townsville. Yeah, but even Cam's not pulling it out of the mid pack and getting a win. Cam more often than not will get a pole position and just not. He's fast though. Cam's really fast. Yeah. Oh, the one at Tassie that Randall should have won, but because he was racing way too hard, ran wide, ran wide in the battle with Brown and spam Feeney. He just shit the bed big time on that one. Not only did he like shit the bed, he pushed hard. He sprayed it. Filled longer than Mostert and got jumped at SMP. Yeah, that was an easy one to do. Like he shouldn't have. That should not have been a mistake that he made. Now, is this year the first year that we got live pit lane? That was last year, right? I think it was last year. That was the first time we had live pit lane. Battle with Brown led to being bumped off. Yeah. Tangle with Courtney. I like it when Randall and Courtney end up together just battling against one another. I'll see if you had... yeah, last year was the first year. They wouldn't shut up about Erebus free falling. When's that? 2023 Adelaide, he should have won. Okay. Because I know there was one that he was like, yeah, because he got on the podium with Cam, right? Yeah. He's been getting pretty good at Adelaide, Thomas Randall. Would took LeBrock out this year. At Albert Park, I think so. Takes the result from him. It's like, yeah. It's like, yeah, but I mean, you've got to remember Cam's been in the category for, this is his 10th year in the category. Cam is just a beast. You kind of, people talk about how, this guy, like, this guy should be like the newer guy should be somehow be better than the guy who's been in there for ages. But I don't think it should be that way. The longer you've been in there, the better you should be. And you shouldn't be getting beaten by your newer teammate. And when your newer teammate starts beating you, maybe it's getting close to time to hang up the helmet and doing something else. Just jumping in the car jumping in for the enduros. He was faster than Cam at 2023 Adelaide. Right, yeah. I know there was one that he was just on fire, doing a great job. There, it's no one. I'm not sure what we're talking about there. I do ramble. I do just say heaps of stuff. And my tea is stone cold. That's just so you know. Oh, you can see my frosty head a little bit. All right. Well, who are we looking? We're looking at 2024 for some reason. Oh! I tell you what, 2025 Percat. I wanna look at that. If it's not Waters up the top, it's no one. Yeah. Like, it shouldn't be like that. It's your 4th year in the category. Now, I've got a bit of a rule about, I think it's the 5th year drivers will start shooting from the hip. And I got a few instances where that's the case. I think it was when Nick Percat came in 2018. His rookie year was 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, year 5. Cam Hill doing a really good job against Percat. He is, but something's not right with Percat. Something's not clicking for some reason for him. I need to 25, and we'll look at Percat. So, rubbish first round, we know that. Great second round. Cam got the win, and Nick got a couple podiums as well. They both got a couple podiums. Cam just qualified not quite well enough. and I don't think Cam was too hurt by that abandoned race at Albert Park. I think that was fine. Some people stood to win big, and some people stood to lose. Like I think Chaz Mostert and Will Brown were going to lose if they didn't if that race actually took place. Struggling at Taupo, crap first race at Tassie, podium in the second race at Tassie where they did the overcut again, and another top 10. He's just sort of struggling in those third races there. Or is it qualifying? His qualifying isn't that great either. He's really struggling. And then you got Cam Hill. He's pretty much, we're kind of getting used to him popping up at some stage in the weekend. He should not be smoking Percat, which is because Percat was good last year. He was the story of the year. Nick Percat. He's back. He's winning races. He's doing this. He's doing that. Cam Hill was starting to get good, but he kept on having rubbish qualifying sessions and having to come through the field every race if he had pace. And maybe Cam Hill is doing what MSR said he would do. When they signed him, people were like, what are you signing Cam Hill for? You should be signing Declan Fraser. And well, they didn't. He wasn't that good in the first year in 2023, but 2024 he started to prove his point. And then this year, how many podiums has he had? 1, 2, 3. He's had 3 podiums. He's racked up a couple more top 10s. He's doing a really good job. And it'd be great to see him end up in the finals. Now, what's the standings now? 5-year theory. It's not a very strong theory. It's just that once they get to that 5th year, all of the little kinks in their ability are ironed out. Percat used to be fast but crash happy. And talk about running a career, Declan Fraser, my God. Yeah. I'm not sure about Declan Fraser. I did a video talking about Declan Fraser, and I got kind of slammed for it, where I said that he didn't do a good enough job in his rookie year. But a lot of people were saying it's the car. He was the 4th car at Tickford. He was always going to get screwed over. But I think there was a few things in 2023 that like he should have gone his way. He had Chris Stuckey as his engineer. They put him with Thomas Randall because they thought, we're going to get rid of Ray Lau. He's going to go to Walkinshaw, or he's going to go to BRT, wherever he's going to go. And so it was a bit too little too late for Declan Fraser at the end there. But the 4th car hasn't always been that good. He was pretty good. He has been pretty good with Andre at BRT. Better than some drivers on the grid. Like who? Macca? Might be better than Macca. We had a look at. It's so difficult to tell, really, with some of these things. Aaron Cameron, he might be better than Aaron Cameron. But Aaron Cameron's in a BRT car. It'll be rude to say that Aaron Cameron's no good when he's driving the BRT car. So I think there's a couple drivers that. Is anyone any old drivers like you want to say Will Davison's no good? All of those BJR guys, bar Heimgartner. Oh, you're gonna knock forward. Here we go. Let's look at Bryce. Where is he? I want to see Jackson Evans put in as second best at BJR. I don't know if they've got an order of things because they've obviously got like a lead driver thing, but I don't know if it's on purpose. Brad's always said that all the cars are the same, but I did a video talking about this. I can't remember which video it was. I just say things in videos. Where let's say you've got who's your gun driver? Like let's say BJR, their gun driver is Andre Heimgartner. You're gonna put your best mechanics with the gun driver who could get the podiums, or you're gonna spread it all thin, and we've got this gun mechanic on Macca's car, and this gun mechanic on Jackson's car, and we'll have the best engineer with Bryce's car, and have it all mixed up like that, or are you going to have some sort of progression going on? Because Macca seemed to be more keen to take a new engineer than the other guys. What's his face? Who's the guy that engineers Heimgartner? I can't remember what his name is. Better than Cooper Murray. Forward's doing okay. He's got a podium. It's he's keeping his seat for now. If he gets into the finals, he can get a contract. I'll be happy with that. For years, he's been underperforming. Yeah, it's difficult to say, I think. If he was, let's say if Forward was not in the top 10 of the championship and he was at Triple Eight, then we'd say, yeah, he's no good. But so many of these teams, they struggle to have one car close enough to the other car. Erebus are probably pretty even split with their drivers. He's not making the finals. Yeah, I don't think so. No, it's nice to dream, but I don't think it's going to happen. I was talking about it with my workmate. Was it today or yesterday? 2 guys going in and 2 guys going out. As in leaving teams at the end of the year or making finals? 2 guys making finals, 2 guys not making finals. Cam Hill and Anton Laters. They'll make finals, I think. I think Kai Allen and Ryan Wood. I'm not sure about Ryan Wood. Kai Allen is cooking. We'll have to see how he goes at Townsville. Yeah, okay. Well, hang on. What's the standings? What's the... I'm going to show the Fox again. And we'll look at the standings. Because... off we go. Okay. So, current standings. So, we've got Anton and Cam Hill at the end there. Okay. Yeah. So, Randall's not making finals. I don't think so. Randall's going to drop. He has been scoring consistent points. God. Kai Allen did jump up a lot. He's been getting some pretty solid points. I wouldn't say Anton's going to keep it. And you're saying Cam Hill. Yeah, I didn't notice that Cam Hill was 9th. So, yeah, maybe he's not making it. I don't know if Andre's going to make it. I'd say Andre would be 10th. Randall, I think, would probably drop. Kai Allen. But it's not just the other thing about the finals, the enduros. So you've got, maybe your premiers are going to start cooking. You've got Will Davison being in 17th, man. It's not going well there. Drivers who are always good at the enduros. Richie might pull one out of the hat, but he's not going to pull. So 477 points. Damn, he's never making finals. You'd have to win Bathurst and you have to win the Bend. So, yeah. Well, hang on, that's me doing a thing. Yeah. So Kai Allen and Ryan Wood is a fair idea. And he has a podium chance. He does further than the others. Yeah. Question mark. Heimgartner falls out before Randall. I think Heimgartner and Randall will get knocked out in the finals. I think that's for sure. It really depends on how the enduros go. The BJR cars are often just difficult to get in the window. Like, was it Macca at Darwin? That car was doing its thing. I'll find that up for you. Where are we, Macca? Here we are. Yeah, 8th. Dropped down to 14th. Yeah. Oh, he dropped a heap of spots in the race. They just swamped him, and I thought, "Where's the dog, Macca? You got to push." And he just wasn't doing it. He had a great run at Tassie, but yeah, he's just sitting pretty in mid pack. And yeah, Bryce. There was a race where he like constantly qualified in the 10, but had no race pace. Yeah, he was doing it in Perth. He did it at Darwin. He's been qualifying quite well. Had a few races where he was just nowhere. Like Taupo and Albert Park, no qualifying pace. Then go to Tassie, Perth, Darwin, qualifying quite well actually, but not really converting it in race pace. He's dropping spots more often than he's gaining spots, I think. Might be. Andre is one of those guys who can drag it up through the field, but not all the time. So we always safe bet that Andre makes it. Second in the qualification before the shootout, use the extra step. Yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. If you need to use up your tires to get in the shootout, just don't do it. He came out in the effective lead in Tassie. Yeah, Macca. Yeah, yeah. So you're talking about Macca, the extra step before the shootout. Yeah, well, I think Andre did as well. They both ran used tires. I just think you're better off just holding on to those tires, unless there's no point, unless you've got all the tires you could possibly want. But what was that? The second race, or was it the last race? I think it was the Sunday race. That one. Where's Macca? Yeah, that was the Sunday race. So yeah, throw everything, throw the kitchen sink at it for Macca. Track position is king. Yeah, but he threw away the track position on that first lap. They just swamped around him. Maybe he got bumped. Maybe he got a bad exit. And Davo needs to pack it up. His generation has been and gone. But wasn't Davo setting records in 22? Well, maybe since then, maybe the time's come and gone. So yeah, maybe Davo goes. My big question. Oh, hang on. His race car isn't as fast, so he's got to do it. Yeah. Father Time is undefeated. Yeah. They'll say, no, I still got it until until they're like, sorry, mate, young champ here wants to drive the car. Um, a great line from the movie Cars, the Pixar movie Cars, where they're dragging away this wrecked car, and he's going, "Let me back out there, Doc. I can still race." But DJR fumbled so bad. Oh, and keeping Davo, I think Kai wasn't proven. The blue car. Yeah, he was he was just like he was looking so wrecked. He couldn't go anywhere. He was over. Kept over, lost Kai. Yeah. I did a YouTube short talking about where I thought people people should go, and I said Davo to Erebus. Um, I said, where did I say? I said Brody to Premier, replacing Slade. Davo to Erebus, replacing Brody. And Kai to DJR, I think. I think I said Kai to DJR. Because Kai had proven his point. He was smashing everyone in Super 2. It was time to step up. Yeah. And the same thing with Ryan Wood. Once you start winning races and doing a good enough and doing the job, main game enduros, that's where your next step is. Super 2 champion is enough. Yeah, it could be, but we've got a couple of Super 2 champions kicking around. We've got Declan Fraser. He's still sniffing around. He's constantly said that he wants to go. Doesn't know, there was never really a championship caliber driver. He always bottled it. Like when? When did that happen? 2009. He was up against Wingcup, and Wingcup had found it. He was on. So it was a bit like to win the championship. 2012. He had the lead. He had the lead, and he was on. He got the pole position, got the pole award, and he had the lead of the championship at Perth in 2012, and that was the round where somebody tagged him and they spun him around. They got the Darwin. Yeah. Maybe the pressure got to him. Acted like his car was finished. Okay. I'd like to watch some 2012 stuff. Reynolds tagged Tanda. Yeah, but didn't Davo get caught up in it somehow? Yeah. But you can't let that stuff get to you. You got to suck it up and then get back on the horse. But so maybe it's like a momentum thing. The Tanda firebomb went off. Okay. Didn't he win the Sunday race? Why? Davo won the Sunday race. Okay, yeah. So he was fine then. But sometimes it just looks like that though. But maybe Triple Eight just got back into it. Lowndes started winning some more races. Beat Wing Cup when Duddo said get him or have him off. Yeah. Davo on his day it can be really good, but more often than not, he doesn't really get it done. How many wins has he had? I don't know if I have those sorts of numbers. What I've got all sorts of things. Hang on, I'll find it. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen too much of that one, and I just know that was the one where that was supposed to be that good. That like Davo battling Wing Cup, and I think that Wing Cup's dad had died, and so Wing Cup was doing absolutely everything to get the win, and Davo had the car to do the job, but Wing Cup was just hunted him down. Wasn't much of a battle. Yeah, well, like sometimes the battle's only 2 laps, and then once he got him, he's gone. Depends on like the tires as well. Wing Cup was flying, Davo. Yeah, well, there you go. Wing Cup's just smart like that. Peak Wing Cup was just smart like that. Except, every Bathurst after 2012. Ran out of fuel on the last lap, turn 8, and just like limped it home. Yeah. Yeah. Where was I looking? I wanted to see how many races people have won. Hang on. Ouch. Of how many Bathurst Wing Cup should have won. I know. He was all right. 2013, That was just that was a that was just a straight fight, that was. Whincup versus Winterbottom. Um, I can't quite remember if, anything happened that might have cost Whincup the win, but, it's Bathurst, it's just like that. He should have won it because he's in a Triple Eight car? Somet They're a pit stop ahead. Oh, okay. So they had, like, better tyres. They should have had the lead, but Frosty did that crazy move around the outside, right? Is that what he did? Maybe if yeah. Maybe Frosty just had a good car. Kept locking up, so they had to do the extra stop. Oh. So maybe just a setup thing. If that's Wink Up, they kept locking up. Um. Yeah. Okay. But then how Frosty passed him right on the last lap. Okay. Dumbrell screwed it up for Wink Up, and so because they were good in 2012, but they always are like first year out. Whincup tried to pass him on the last lap. Oh, is that what that was? Okay, and Frosty was hanging on for dear life. Yeah, Griffins. Yeah, yeah, I couldn't remember the exact situation. Yeah, so Dumbrell needed to, and Dumbrell, he blocked him out late. He's the last lap of Bathurst. You gotta do whatever it takes. It's like, you know, he's the camber. He did, and that was dangerous. Even the um, whoever it was, Scafie and Crompo, were going, "Oh, what's he doing?" And he just hung on for dear life. So he had track position to head into the cutting, and then yeah, just nuts. Now, what was I looking at? What did I call it? I called it the best driver of all time. Scafe yelling is the funniest shit ever. Yeah. Uh, I don't get why people don't like Scafe. I get that he's like too many fingers in too many pots. I get that. I don't get the hate. There's like so many people just complaining about him. Um, but maybe everybody knows something special about it that I don't. I just go, this is just what Supercars sounds like. Um, what did I call it? The best driver all the time. Hang on. I don't know why, but they don't bother me. Yeah. I just think that's just what Supercars sounds like. Sometimes they say things and I'm like, it's usually like TV where I'm like, why aren't they showing this? Or why are they talking about like it's only a lot of the people who are in the sport complain about the really intricate stuff and say, oh, they should be talking about this. Then go watch IndyCar if that's what you want to watch. What is it? What did I call this damn thing? I got an Excel document that has lack of awareness sometimes. Yeah, well, sometimes they're focused on one thing. It can probably be they ask questions about things us on the couch noticed. Yeah, well, people notice different things as well. So, what did I call it? It's their job to notice it. Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? They're supposed to be on it all the time. What the hell did I call this thing? Here we are. The greatest driver of all time, all the time. That's what I called it. It's a couple years old, but I will show you. Uh, you just said a comment there. Like they asked 15 times if they took 2 or 4. Don't they have like an engineer as well telling them information? Clearly saw at the pit stop what they took. Yeah, but they might have been. They've got all these different screens and all this different information. They might not have seen it, and they've got pit lane reporters as well, so they have to clarify all the time. So Scott Sinclair, is it Scott Sinclair? I thought it was Oscar Fiorinato or whatever it is. Is he still there? Because I thought he was one of those guys on the notes. He left. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So anyway, I got this thing that I made called the greatest driver of all the time, where it shows number of race wins. So we've got it's only up to the end of 2022. So you got Will Davison down there with 21 wins. But my favorite bit about it is getting a bit of an idea of how long somebody was the number one in terms of race wins. And it's a 2-year period. So you got Jamie Whincup in 2018. So in between 2016 and 2018, Whincup overtook Lowndes in terms of race wins, which Lowndes only won 2 more races after 2016, so that just makes sense. And Whincup won a whole championship and won a bunch more races as well, so that's fine. But Lowndes was number one for a few, if you're for like 4 or 5 years. And then, but Scafie was number one for such a long time. For 10 years, Scafie was the guy, even after he retired. Won a couple more races, but he was that far ahead because Lowndes switched to Ford that he just dropped all those spots. But before then, Lowndes was number one. Before Scaife, Lowndes was number one. The kid, he'd just come up the ranks within 6 years. He won 16 races in his rookie year, and then by the time he left HRT, 49 race wins. And then because he was driving for Ford at that time, he was struggling. Then he got to Triple Eight and started racking up some numbers. But it took that long to get back up there as well. So I like looking at that. And then before Craig Lowndes, it was Peter Brock for a long time. And then Alan Moffat for a long time. And then Bob Jane, Pete Gay again for a while. But you got before 1969, the championship was only run with one race. In 1969, they introduced the multi-race championship. It was only like six rounds or something like that, and then the number started going up, and so it was pretty cool. Looking at that, what we got here: Australian Touring Car champions. Oh, what are these? Number of race wins. Okay. Bit. All right. Sometimes I'm just getting lost in my own data. It's pretty nuts. I want to check if you said anything. There's YouTube vids for Supercars now as well on the YouTube. Yeah, I saw that he did the hype video for Tickfed at the start of the year. Eastern Creek 2017 when Cup overtook HRT. Car must have been on crack. They were just really good. Back in the day, HRT. Actually, one thing I thought was interesting. I did something looking at the number of 1-2s per between HRT and Triple Eight, and Triple Eight are better than HRT ever was. And I thought that was interesting because we like to imagine in that golden period of HRT that they were just up the front smashing everyone, but it wasn't. Scaife was having his Scott McLaughlin time. He was up the front all the time. Bridie it was pretty much just that golden period was just 2 years, 01 and 02 with Jason Bright. He was in the top 10. He was having a Will Brown time, and except without a championship, because his teammate was Mark Scaife. And I just thought it was interesting to see how many times that they got 1-2s because it tells you a lot about how good a team is that they can get 2 cars to be getting 1-2s. Triple Eight have done it a lot more than any other team. It's too efficient. Triple Eight is just a beast of a machine. That's why they're taking on the engine supply too, so they can give Ford the engines that they so desire. Change the driver pairing rules for Bathurst, and they said, "Fuck you," and go 1-2. Yeah. Um, what I thought was interesting is they said, oh, they were acting like they needed to stop Triple Eight from winning every single Bathurst, but they didn't win in '09. They just didn't have the car pace. Will Davison and Garth Tander in the HRT car smashed everyone. Garth Tander was I mean, I don't want to say peak Garth Tander because he just kept on getting better. But Will Davison was in his prime pretty much. Well, almost. I think prime Will Davison was probably FPR days, like late FPR days. But Tander, the Enduro season. Yeah, 2009, Garth Tander was just. And he was doing like the shootout laps he was doing as well. Like he put it on pole in '08 at Bathurst. He put it on pole in '09 at Bathurst. Maybe the competition in '09 wasn't that good because that was Garth Tander and Will Davison, Jason Richards, and I know this. Hang on. I've got it written down somewhere. I cannot remember it. Cameron McConville. Right. Let me pop up a little PowerPoint presentation for a second. I just happen to have so many Excel spreadsheets and PowerPoint presentations. I am a little bit obsessed with supercars, and it has come in a little bit handy on YouTube. You gotta make it a profitable. Well, not even a profitable, just a worthwhile exercise. And Holsworth and Caruso was the other one I was gonna mention. Murphy and Scaife. Scaife said that they could have won, but I think it was a bit of a stretch. But that's a dream pairing. That is. Murph's always good at Bathurst, except for 2022, which we don't talk about because that was just kind of like that was for Richie. Murph was there for Richie. He didn't really want to be there. They could have. They got screwed over by the safety car, right? Yeah, worst possible time. So that was what, after they pitted or before they pitted? Must have been after they pitted. If they had the pace, they were going to undercut everyone, and then suddenly everyone gets a free kick. Before they pitted, okay. Here's my Cameron McConville PowerPoint presentation. And he's just like one of those guys who just rocks up at the Enduros and gets on the podium. It's just sort of funny thinking about how he was a pretty good steerer. He just didn't get that great chance. Not really. He just ended up at mid-pack teams. He did a great job for BJR, but he got fed up. He'd had enough. He wanted to go sell tyres. Yeah. Second at Bathurst with Jason Richards. DNF for JR. JR was fast too. I think JR got his first pole position at Darwin 2009. But then you got the other WOW car, Steel Blue. I wear Steel Blues at work. The only reason I like them is because they've been on Supercars stickers. I don't really care about them otherwise. Then did the substitute at Townsville for LDM, helping out. And then just did a substitute for Bridie at Tassie. Enduros with HRT. He was just like an enduro guy. He would just rock up at the enduros and just pull one out of the hat. It's like when they say, like, oh, and Andrew Jones got fourth at Bathurst. No. Andrew Jones co-drove with Cameron McConville, and they got a top 10. Lansvale, and they can't be helped. Low budget team doing their best. HRT days. What else we got? Did an alright job with JC. And then came back for LDM because he's just mates with Lucas Dumbrell. Podium at Bathurst, just how they managed to get that one was just impressive because those were actually the only, apart from the winner Adelaide, the top 10s in the Enduros were the only top 10s that car got. That car was like 2016 LDM car was actually worse than the 2015 car because they weren't investing in upgrades because it's a low budget team. But you gotta love LDM. Yeah, McConville had like the best time in the 2017 car, and he was going to be the boss of 23 Red, team director. Apparently, team secured Rob Crawford of KMA just beat the other team. It's like, don't sign a guy from 10 years ago. Sign a guy from today. Revamped LDM or finances management for Monday. I liked Phil Monday. He was great, and then he was like, "Yeah, this it looks like it's time to leave." Unfortunately. Who had sponsored the team since 2014. So, yeah, good times. Whoop. Rick Bates at Lansvale, right? Whoop. Yeah, well, the Bates family's got a lot of people. Hang on. I'll Google it for a second. There's so many Bates, Twin brother of Neil Bates. There's so many freaking Bates, man. The only one I can think of is Harry Bates, who's like the current Bates, right? He's the one that's racking up all the results. Yeah, Zach Bates is Rick Bates' son. Interesting. Harry Bates he's the current one racking up the titles. 4-time Australian Rally Champion. Nuts. Yeah, that's a fun little fact, that one. So when Zach makes his now he didn't do Bathurst last year, did he? No. He missed the cut. Because they put Fabian with Woody. And so Zach's gonna be with doing the super cheap one, and then yeah. Didn't know we raced with Lowndes. Yeah, Cameron McConville is just one of those guys. He's just been there and done that. When they went across the track off Steve Owen. He had a few DNFs, didn't he? The Rick Bates. No. What are we talking about? What's the DNF you're talking about where they went across the track off Steve Owen? 2009 BOC car. Right. Oh, okay, at Phillip Island. Is that right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. I've definitely got some big blank spots in my knowledge of supercars. Like I'll know some like facts and figures, but I wouldn't remember a lot of the stuff from back then. It's weird they put Paul Dumbrell in the HRT car. What in 20? Hang on. What in 2008? Is that what you're talking about? in '09 in the HRT car. Pulled umbrella. Okay, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, because they put, Davo and GT together, and so in the 22 car actually, I've got a PowerPoint presentation that kind of talks about this. What we got? Do I have a pulled umbrella PowerPoint presentation? What have I got? Got one somewhere. He drove the number 22, yeah. I've got one about someone. Wingcup should have won 2011 too at Bathurst. Really? Okay. Okay, right. Yeah. Well, yeah, these things happen, I suppose. That's a bit weird for Triple Eight. They don't usually have mechanical issues. Um, well, I remember SVG had a suspension failure in 2020 Adelaide. And if it wasn't him, Lowndes would have won. Should have won. Yeah. Well, hang on. Who was on pole at Bathurst in 2011? Will Davison, right? Was it Will Davison on pole at Bathurst? Who was on pole? Frosty stayed behind Wingcup when his car was dying. Yeah, Murph got the podium in 2011 at Bathurst. Interesting. I've got something somewhere. I've got a PowerPoint presentation somewhere where it talks about. Oh, I know what one it is. Pole, he was on pole. Oh, 2011 Murph was on pole. Yeah, you're right. Total blank. There's so much knowledge in this head, and I just sometimes cannot remember things. No, I remember what I was looking at. It's a weird one I made. Davo on the front row. Yeah, Davo did. I've got one that's like an Autobahn one. Autobahn in Supercars. What's that? Tando win a bottom wing cup. Okay, and it rained out. Oh, in qualifying. That explains a lot. Okay, now I'm gonna for the shootout lap. Now this one to Autobahn in Super. You love to see it. You love it. Oh, here we go. So 2005 Perkins Motorsport, Alex Davison and Owen Kelly. And then you got Rod Nash Racing, team called Autobahn Racing apparently. In 2007 with the Bottle across there's actually a really good story. I think it was from Rod Nash talking about how they got the Bottle into Supercars because they became a major sponsor. Actually a pretty interesting story. Might have been on the Rusty's Garage podcast. Can't remember. I used to listen to that one pretty regularly, but he talks to all sorts of racing people, so you get a lot of interesting stories. But the one that I was looking for, here we go. 2009 Walkinshaw Racing. Dumbrell drove the 22 for HRT at the Enduros, while Shane Price joined Steve Owen in the number 10 for Walkinshaw. And who was the other driver? David Reynolds was the other driver for Walkinshaw in 2009. That was the first time he was in there. I do like that's a very nice Autobahn livery, I tell you what. And then Autobahn Lands Racing. Shits and giggles. I like this one in 08. For Dumbrell took so long to get good. He'd been in the category for such a long time that by the time he got good, it was a bit frustrating, really. Yeah, thanks. I like the PowerPoints too. I like just putting the pictures up, putting a bit of interesting information. V8 Sleuth, oh 08 Bathurst was wild with Drew Reynolds, so Rick Kelly joined. I know, and they DNF'd anyway. Maybe they couldn't help it. I am not a fan of what Mark Scaife's team did to HSV dealer team in 2008. They gutted HSV, which had won 2 championships back to back. This is the team that used to be Kmart Racing and won Bathurst back to back. And then they're like, okay, we're going to take Garth Tander away from HSV, and we're going to take was it his engineer was what, Matt Nielsen, and moved him to HRT, so that Scafie has an easier time. So they basically gutted HSV, took the sponsorship, took all the best guys, basically left Rick with an underfunded HSV, and he kept his engineer. Rick's engineer was called Eric Pender, and they basically just had Rick and Eric Pender, and then Paul Dumbrell as his teammate. Like, you couldn't get another Holden driver to fill that place. But even then, Rick was dragging that car into positions that didn't belong. And, Garth was doing a great job at HRT, but it sort of frustrated me. You had 2 teams doing a great job in 2007. Scafie should have retired in 2007, but maybe you just learn things the hard way. Rick said, fuck this, I'm going on Brothers Race team. Yeah, because I guess Larry was talking to Todd and Mum and Pop Kelly and saying, we're gonna sell this thing. What do you think? And they said, yeah. Didn't they already own the HSV licenses? Yeah. Paul Dumbrell was just given the keys to the HSV car, and they were like, go champ, you'll be good. And he was not good, but he was also just like, they ruined HSV. You can't take away everything good and then expect something to be great. Like, Erebus last year was sort of scraping by, and this year it's just gotten a bit worse. Like, it takes a little while for it all to bleed out completely. But didn't know a lot of this. I read about it in a book, Scafie Life in the Fast Lane. Yeah, no worries. I'm just here to just divulge massive amounts of information that I've learned over the years. Mark Scaife's autobiography, Scafie Life in the Fast Lane, he talked about this thing called Scafie 2.0. And yeah, he had like a few people that were like his tight-knit group. And they were trying to make things easier for Scafie management-wise, but they kind of ended up kicking themselves in the balls repeatedly. They really should have. I guess the problem was Scafie wasn't going to pull the pin on driving until he really knew that he was having a hard time. And he only knew that in 2008 while he was in the middle of the season. So sometimes maybe being the owner of the team doesn't help. But he was pretty good in 2007. So yeah, it's just frustrating to see how that unfolded. It's just politics for you. A bit similar to what happened to DJR. Yeah. And I think Scafie knew there were a couple times, I think it was, I can't remember what races he said it was. I've heard a sequential just wasn't his thing. Yeah, well, maybe. Not everybody had to switch to it, right? I think 2008, I remember Rick Kelly at Oran Park was driving with the H pattern. So unless HRT was always supposed to have the newest gear. So they probably had the sequential. No, hang on. Is it sequential gearbox the same as the pull shifter, or is it just a different thing? Tanda had it. Yeah, well, Tanda won at Oran Park. I think Rick got on the podium or something. What happened? Rick won? Garth came up? I think Rick won that last race. Yeah. So, yeah, he's on board. Yeah. Yeah, Rick won the last race at Oran Park. Yeah. Rick Kelly is one of those drivers that I was disappointed that he didn't continue as a professional driver, because I think he would have been really good. He should have gone to HRT. They should have, if they were gonna do it perfectly. 2008 Oran Park. There was so much going on that weekend. So not only did Rick win the last race, and Garth, I think, won another race. Garth won the round, was it? Whincup won the first race. Garth won the round, I'm pretty sure. Frosty went into that last round in contention for the championship, but he had such a crap time. Whincup won the first race, but then after that, he had a crap round. So that's why you ended up with Garth winning, I think, the second race, and then Rick winning the last race. It's just like all sorts going on. And in that last race, they were supposed to have Scafey on the radio. And obviously, you can watch the whole race on YouTube. Engine failure for Wincup's second race. Yeah, well, yeah, it just happens, doesn't it? Yeah, I know we had engine failure, and then that meant he would have started in last place because they had progressive grids in 08. So yeah, Paul Morris took him out. Yeah, well, there you go. Which is, and so he did when Frosty did his, no, not Frosty, Whincup did his burnouts, his championship winning burnouts at Oran Park. He went into the ditch, didn't he? I think he did. It was sort of funny. They were on the radio to him, and he's just like spinning around, and he's just stuck it into the dirt. Yeah, but I think it was an optional thing for the sequential and H pattern gearboxes. That's Tasmania. Oh wait, had he wrapped it up, or was it just a race winning celebration? Because I thought he only secured the championship at Oran Park. He won the round. Okay, yep, fair enough. All right. What else have I got going? Came out of the hairpin. They said do a burnout. And he did, and he screwed it up. Well, how many times would you have done a burnout? But no, it happens. He was like 24. Oh, I've got another great PowerPoint presentation. I'm gonna get rid of these. Get rid of the Karen McConville one over for a second. He's horrible at burnouts. He did a great one at Gold Coast 2016, where he was just kind of sliding along, smoking up the place. That was good. And McLaughlin's one at I think 2019 Bathurst. He was just was it 2020 where he's just like coming down the mountain, massive burnout, like across the mountain. I think just about massive burnout. That was great. All right, so get rid of that one. 2007 versus 2017, I think it's called. It was 2020, yeah, when he was leaving. Championship burnout. Because I actually have, it was really interesting looking at 2007 versus 2017. But yeah, Scotty's burnout in 2020 at Bathurst was just like, yeah, so good. All right. Now show. Brock, what he did, it was all right. I don't know if it was good. I don't know if I'd say it was great. It was good. He didn't screw it up. But we're so used to like the SVGs and Scott McLaughlins and Cam Waters, the sort of flamboyant sort of drivers and guys who are that good at it. So yeah, so 2007 versus 2017, 2 championships that were as close as it could get. So here we go. This is the guy who won the championship. Guys who've been around a long time, getting it done. GT winning his unfortunately only championship. And then Jamie Whincup winning his unexpected last championship. But the interesting bit was runner-up Jamie Whincup, age 24, debut 2002. Then Scott McLaughlin, the same age, 10 years later. I thought that was cool. Then he got the championship leaders. Todd won that first round at Adelaide. Rick was in until he just didn't win enough races, and then Garth started just winning heaps of races. And then Whincup after Bathurst started winning races. And then Garth got it done at Phillip Island. That was pretty close. And then 2017, I think, is just one of the best championships in Supercars history. Because especially after Bathurst, Fabian was in the lead of the championship after Scotty and Jamie had just misfortunes. SVG just needed to refine his skills as a driver, it seemed. And then Scotty obviously got that penalty, and then he tossed Simona into the. Did he put her into the fence? And then there was the thing with Lowndesy where there's allegations about saying, like conspiracy theory sort of thing, when people saying, Roland sent Lowndesy out on the last lap so that he could take out Scotty or put pressure on Scotty. But Craig Baird said, because Scotty's mirror was gone, but he knew that Lowndes was there. Craig Baird said, when you know there's a driver there but you can't see him, don't run him into the fence, which is what he ended up doing. And so then he got the pit lane penalty for taking out Lowndesy and lost the championship. The speeding in pit lane thing, I'm not completely sure that they get that that's completely accurate all the time. I'm not sure about it, but yeah. And then so J-Dab got the win. Rick Kelly, title challenger in his defense. Challenger in his title defense. SVG the same. Both finishing fourth in the championship. Teammate won the title. So yeah, a few interesting things in that one. Todd Kelly fan. Then when Whincup went to Holden and jumped on the bandwagon, it's the craziest race I've ever watched. It was a great race. One for the ages. It's actually creepy. How the hell is it so similar? I know, right? I was just like, this is just crazy. It's like I don't know, like Whincup and McLaughlin being just these, because Whincup was young at the time, and McLaughlin came through and he was very young as well, but Whincup was no McLaughlin was and Whincup are very different drivers. Whincup came in, lost his seat, came back, had to fight for it. McLaughlin came through, got everything right, got in a championship contender car, and lost the championship. It's a bit different to the way they lost the championships in 2007, 2017. Oh, you just had no business winning that 2017 championship. He was just more consistent than SVG, and better than Fabian. He was maximizing the results in 2017, I think, compared to, because I think that's what he said. He said he might not have. He screwed it in Bahrain, 2007. Okay. I think that Wing Cup wasn't quite up to scratch yet. Garth was a much more complete driver in 2007, which he should be. You know, when you've been in the category for 9 years, you should be completely capable of winning a championship when they give you the car to do the job. You know, like if Tickford gave Cam Waters a championship capable car, let's say they gave him a car that was able to win the championship and not just have like a one crap weekend or 2 or 3 crap weekends, he would be able to do the job. And I think everyone knows that. But Wing Cup was just so consistent compared to everybody else. With Triple Eight being such an experienced title contender team, by that point, he was on for like he knew he was close, but they also thought that it was Scotty's. It was Scotty's to lose, and he lost it. Winton Race 1 Wing Cup went 21st to 1st. Yeah. I thought it was interesting. Hang on. Is it Wing Cup didn't get his first pole position until, I think, 2007 or something. Something like that. But it was kind of late in the season that Wing Cup actually started getting those sorts of results. Where was it? Where did I find it? It might be my Frosty thing. Where did I put it? Queensland Raceway. Right. Okay. Yeah. Where else? Where am I looking? I'm starting to get tired, actually. This tea should keep me up for a couple more hours at least, but I'm gonna conk out in a bit, I'm pretty sure. I was gonna look for something else, and I'm losing it. I'm losing track. And the next year, 2008. Well, he did it again. He started last and then came through the field. I mean, it wouldn't even been last back then. That would have been 30 car grid. So, you know, Frosty went to 21st to 2nd. Oh, that's funny. Just by going long, doing the SVG tactic. Just run long with solid race pace. Pit for fresh tyres and just smash him. Just consistency wins the race. Well, and then just like go on ham at the end. We're looking. What do you think about it back in the day then? The lap time disparity was insane. Yeah. I think since LDM got wrapped up, actually no, hang on. Since Team Sydney, okay, since 2022, there isn't one team that's like a bad team. Hang on, except maybe BRT. Since 2020, okay, so 2022. Yeah, just 2022 was the only time. Yeah, so I guess BRT is a bad team. You don't actually want to drive for them. Bit unfortunate. They're starting to come good, but we don't know. We're going to have to see how things unfold for them. But yeah, it used to just be a massive difference lap times. These days, if you're 8 tenths down at Darwin, you're last. So, um, it weren't as bad when Hazelwood was driving for them. Hazelwood was doing as good a job as as JC has done. Um, they were just Hazelwood was good when the Ford teams were good in 2023. So, which was what, Perth and Sandown. He pulled a shootout lap out of his ass. That was good. He was pretty good at Adelaide as well. So, yeah, that Gen 3 BRT car's not too bad in the streets. I'm not sure about Gold Coast or Townsville, but I think maybe the Fords weren't very good at Townsville and Adelaide. They were flying. Last year, yeah, well, Courtney and Aaron Love actually had some pace, but Aaron Love didn't have well, he wasn't James Courtney, and it's unfortunate, but we can't all be James Courtney. Some people have to not have a 20-year career. So, some people have to be the rookie teammate. But they got both. Like Aaron Love did a solid shootout lap. JC was just JC's good at Adelaide. He was good at Adelaide. Was he good there when they were at Tickford? He's a stinky driver, respectfully. All right, let's put that idea to this. I thought he wasn't too bad. Hang on, where's my? You can't be ass and make mistakes. Oops, what am I doing here? My computer is tripping out. Oh. It is yeah, my stream thing is it just refuses to exist. It's not even showing me what's going on. Hang on. What am I doing here? Yeah, I cannot see the I don't even know if it's gonna keep showing it. Oh no, my computer is imploding at the moment. Oh boy. No, I've been going for 3.5 hours. It's had enough. It's had enough. Actually, check on my phone maybe or something. It's definitely done. If I close the window, it'll probably just straight up work or something. Yeah, I can't see anything actually. It's just stopped. If I look in it's just going. Oops. Yeah. Okay. If you can see me, then that's the end of. I can see comments now. Yeah. All right. Well, it's for the good time. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and maybe I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Let's see how we can stop this. Oh, that doesn't work. I've refreshed there. Sorry, computer.